have no idea if this is working, and it is freaking me out. Hi, by the way. Hi. Am I still looping? Because if I have the sound on, it'll start looping for me. Okay, cool. Well, hello. I am Lucky Red Sparrow, and after that disaster of a start, I think I'm actually live and working. It's going to be very awkward for the first little bit because I freak out easily and my anxiety is over the top. However, if there are any issues, please let me know. I will try and keep on top of them as best I can. I don't know why I haven't got a streamer thing going, but whatever. Hello! I am just trying to make sure everything is fixed, and my camera has flipped, so anyway. My plan for today is just to get started with Final Fantasy Online. Oh my god, hi Waffle! Nice to see you, thank you for raiding. I'm sorry you couldn't raid on something more interesting. I am freaking out, thank you for asking. This is the first time I have ever streamed, and my anxiety has decided that today and right now is a perfect time to go absolutely bonkers. So hopefully I will relax a little bit. How are you doing? Yeah, anxiety is the best. I don't know what's better than Final Fantasy, survey. Yeah, so I have made my little character, Lilith Dustseeker, and we're starting as a paladin, well, as a gladiator, because I thought, why start again in Gridania after like the 6 or 7 times I've started this game as a conjurer, and why not do something else that starts my anxiety and be a tank. I mean, my plan is to get all of the classes to unlock. Oh yeah, Ul'dah is the best city. Honestly, I love Ul'dah out of all of them just because when you start, it's such a vibrant city as opposed to, like, Limsa is insane. Limsa is full of RPs that are amazing but also terrifying and will shock new viewers. But I'm very fond of Ul'dah, especially Raban. Yeah, so I am going to get started. To be recognized as an adventurer in the city-state of Ul'dah, you must first register yourself with the Adventurers Guild. Yes, I know. Okay, so for full clarification, I have completed A Realm Reborn and Heavensward. I have not completed past that yet, so I know a lot of all of this, but I figured if I'm going to complete it, I may as well start at the start. We have Wymond here. 'Tis plain to anyone with eyes that you don't know your way around here. If I let you go wandering off down the nearest dark alley, you're certain to get mugged or worse, and I don't want that on my conscience. Mood. So before you do anything else, you want to head over to the Quicksand and speak with Momodi. She is the master of the Adventurers Guild and can set you on the right path. For the most part, I just I'm starting out with fun. I would be amazed if I get to affiliate or partner. But right now it's just let's do this. I've always wanted to. Yeah, this is a brand new character. I figured if I'm going to be completionist, I don't want anyone to say, oh, but you could have bought it. Yeah, no. I'm doing this the right way. I do have the level 80 boost though from being on the Australian server. Hi, Tiny. Yes. I made the character. Unfortunately, it skipped me through the starting intro cutscene, but this is literally where it picks up after that. I was going to do a new one, and then I'm like, I've already got her, I don't want to do it again. Yes, I do. I spend way too long in character creation. Just take those steps over yonder and pass through the double doors. You'll find her inside. Okay. It's a lot of fun. I'm part of a great community that helps people gain affiliation, and they are much more than a streaming community if you'd be interested. At the moment, feel free to join the Discord and send me some details if you like, or DM me, that's cool. But at the moment I have no idea what I'm doing. And that's as much as you're getting for free. Good luck with the adventurer. So my plan is to accept every single quest that I can. Yeah, I know. Also, I have a few little macros here that I will quickly explain. This is an armory sorter. Yeah, space. Just focus on playing and having fun for now, I think. Yeah, 100%. I'm not going to speedrun it, Tiny. Thank you very much, Somo. So I have a couple of macros here that I find really useful. One is the armory sorter, and that basically just sorts the armory in descending eye level. For those of you who don't know what an eye level is, I can't actually, yeah. So you can see, no you can't because it's on the wrong side of the screen. So you can see, weaker armor has a weaker eye level. I'm just trying to find it on there and I can't. Oh, yeah, no. I found it a while ago. I'll show you. It's just basically... Can you... I don't know if you can read that, but I'll drop it into chat for you. But it sorts it... Oh, crap. Basically, I sort condition, armory, eye level, descending. I will put that into Discord. Yeah, that's probably easier because I just tried to put it in chat and it freaked out. I will do that soon, I promise. I also have bell effects, so during fights and stuff, you can either have all of them off except for your own, or you can have everybody's on, and I can just switch between them with these two. That's it, thank you. And I've got a fate grinding one, which I haven't really tested yet, but it's supposed to dismount me and auto drop me to the level, but I won't need that for a bit. And that's just going to sit nice and clear over here, which you guys probably can't see, but that's all that's behind there. So yeah. Thank you guys for joining me. It's very clear that I'm freaking out, and so having company does really help. Hello. I am freaking out, Cax. Thank you for asking. Why, hello there. Who might you be? If you're looking to join the Adventurers Guild, you've come to the right place. Thanks, Space. Name's Modi, and I own this fine establishment, if it please you. Well, I'm pretty sure she'd own it even if it didn't. I do love Mimoni. I also manage the Adventurers Guild here in Uldar, so you might say looking after green adventurers like yourself is my vocation. And lucky for you, that is. Without someone like me here to steer you in the right, you'd soon find yourself in the middle of nowhere, caught up in business you don't understand. That pretty much describes my life. I just realized you're trying to tank this time. Yes, I am. But it won't matter for like 15 levels, so... Like our conflict with the Amalja, for example. They've been plaguing the Sultanate for nigh on... forever now. Then there's the Galilean Empire. No one can say for sure what they're plotting these days, only that they are. And of course, there's the Dancing Cat Girls. Either people drink and make merry, but underneath it all there's worry. Worry and a lingering feeling of loss. And little wonder, it's been scarce 5 years since the Lesser Moon cracked open like a giant egg, releasing an abomination intent on turning the realm into an 8th hell. So much was lost in the blink of an eye. It was like the end of the world had come at last. But then, things begin to get foggy. Everyone's got their own version of what happened next. Some of them 2 or 3. You'd think people would remember something like that, but the fact is they don't. Nobody does. The one thing the survivors agree on: the part played by a band of adventurers who laid down their lives for a realm that wasn't their own. They fought valiantly, and like so many others, they never returned. Deeds worth remembering, I'm sure you'll agree. It's just a shame our recollections of these brave heroes are as jumbled as calamity itself. Whenever we try to call their faces to mind, it's like they're standing between us and the midday sun, permanently silhouetted. I'll bet that sounds poetic to you, doesn't it? Well, it's not. It's bloody infuriating. But even if we can't remember them, we'll not let them be forgotten, and so we call them the Warriors of Light. And they'll forever stand as a shining example of what adventurers can achieve. That's why I welcome new arrivals like yourself to the fair city. All I ask is that you lend a helping hand and try to leave Uldar in a better state than you found her. If you can promise that, I'd be happy to let you join the guild. Yeah, pretty much. Alright then, a promise is a promise now. I'm counting on your help to put the past behind us. We need people working and spending and bickering like the old days. And a happy, prosperous Uldar means more business for the quicksand too. Any road, let's make this official. Go ahead and write your name in the register, neat as you can. So, for those of you who don't know, this used to actually have an entirely different plot. I'll explain that in a second. Lilith Dustseeker. Well, ain't that a charming name? Just rolls off the tongue, it does. Really doesn't. I've stumbled over it like 3 times already. Alright, Miss Dustseeker, on behalf of the Adventurers Guild, I officially... Please, sir, be merciful. 12 is my witness. I swear to you, I'll bring you your money. I probably should have made a male voice for that one. Also, I love the Lullafells. That's what this race is called. But it's very hard to take them seriously in serious cutscenes. In the East, it is said that even a merciful god might be driven to vengeance if thrice blasphemed. Little potatoes, yeah. Be grateful you were given a 4th chance to offend. You two, attend to this scum. No, please, mercy. Well, ain't that a sorry sight? Nor an uncommon one, if I'm honest. Don't worry, though. If you work hard, I'll doubt you'll end up like him. Wouldn't be much of a game if I did. Oh, yeah, no. Especially to Leggy Adelegy later on. I couldn't help it. I'd snicker. Just the same, if you ever need a bit of advice about one thing or another, pay me a visit. Just don't go bothering me every time you stub your bloody toe, alright? Of course, I do enjoy hearing a lady muse on the many manhoods of her acquaintance from time to time. I can respect it. Any road, welcome to Uldar, Lilith. Take a moment to catch your breath, and I'll teach you a little about our fair city. So, yeah, what I was saying was that this game actually had an entirely different plot to start with. The calamity they're referring to is the original plot of the game, but it was so janky and broken and tedious that players weren't really interested in it. And so Square Enix went, okay, we'll do something new. And they basically sectioned off that part of the game, and now it's inaccessible, but gave us this instead, where the Warriors of Light were your heroes, the ones you played as before. So, it was pretty cool. Also get used to that sound, because we'll be hearing it a lot. Straight to level 3, gotta love that boost. So how's everyone doing anyways? Before you go charging off to find your fortune, I have a few basic tasks I'd like you to perform, so as to help you get the know of the place. First of all, I want you to visit the Aetheryte Plaza. To get there, head west from here till you reach Emerald Avenue, then look to the north. You should see a giant floating crystal called an Aetheryte. If it weren't for Aetherites, travelling around Eorzea might be a damn sight more troublesome than it is. Of course, you still need to attune with them before you can use them, so be sure to do that with the one in the plaza. Have you ever attuned with an Aetheryte before, Lilith? If not, just lay your hand on the thing and you'll see what I mean. When you've done that, I want you to pay a visit to the Gladiators Guild over at the Colosseum. Assuming that sword ain't just for show, you might consider training there. And finally, I want you to visit the Sapphire Avenue Exchange, over on the steps of Thal. Goods from all across Eorzea and beyond turn up there every day. You'll have no trouble finding armor or weapons or anything else a fledgling adventurer like yourself might need. You might say everything's for sale here in Uldar, as long as you got the guild. Just make sure you don't pay more than you ought to, Lilith. There's plenty as won't scruple to swindle some unsuspecting foreigners like yourself, especially if they think no one's looking out for their better interests. Which is why I'm giving you this letter. When you visit the exchange, find a gentleman named Sarasoga. I never know how to pronounce that. And give it to him. He'll be happy to tell you about the markets once he's read it. In short then, visit the Aetheryte Plaza, the Gladiators Guild, and the Sapphire Avenue Exchange. Simple. Oh, but a word before you go. A word of advice. While there's more than a few unsavory characters out there who try to take advantage of you, there are also some with honest-to-goodness problems who you should consider offering a helping hand to. A lot of folk are lured to the city by the promise of wealth and power. What many of them fail to realize is that instead of chasing gil after the moment they get here, they ought to be making friends. Let it be known you're willing to give as much as you get, and opportunities will come your way. Speaking of which, you should speak with the smith over yonder. Those lads always have good advice for some up-and-coming adventurers. Otherwise, that's about it from me. It's past time you got going. Oh, and let me know when you've finished, will you? That way I won't spend my days worrying that you're down to your small clothes without a guild to your name. Doing well, just finished a short Psychonauts 2 stream, and taking care of some adult nonsense. That was a mood. How'd the stream go? By the way, everyone in chat, check out Space Confession. They are pretty awesome. I played India with them, and they're some of my favorite people. Thank you, Rave. That was exactly the way I wanted to say that. Anyway, and here we go. Now we gotta run around and jump everything. How is the sound, by the way? Does it sound okay? Do I need to fix anything with my mic? Okay. Sounds good to me. Thank you. It went alright. I hadn't gotten to play it in months, so it was a lot of remembering how to play. That's a mood. I do that a lot with Final Fantasy. As a result, I've made like 6 or 7 new characters because I get to a certain point, usually around the end of Heavenswood, and then forget how to play because I go off and do something else, and then have to start a new character so I can find out how to play, and I never go back. Quick travel through the city can be achieved by placing your hand on Aethernet shards. Yes, thank you. As you can see, I've got some mail because I have been a subscriber to this game for quite some time. We're talking over 780 days subscribed, and I still never got past Heavenswood, so, you know, that's good, right? We've got Wymond here, again, with another quest. He would like to know what we think of Uldar. So how are you taking to Uldar, Lilith? Make any new friends in high places yet? Ha! Well, when you have the Sultan's ear one day, I hope you won't forget about old Wymond. Long as you're here, mayhap you can do me a favour, and take this missive to Josiah's at the Platinum Mirage. It's just over yonder, and the man will even give you some gil for your trouble. If only all work in the city was this easy, eh? If only. I could definitely use some money. If only it was that easy. So I am playing on the Zervan server on the Australian connection because anywhere else is too laggy for stream. Neni Baru. Hail, adventurer! Might you have come at the behest of Miss Momodi at the quicksand? Excellent. Which brings us to the matter of the attunement fee. That will be 100,000 gil, if you please, madam. Bullshit. Apologies, but I do so relish the opportunity to make that jest. The look on your face was priceless. I would do this too, to be honest, if I was stuck here all day. But the fact you were so easily deceived suggests to me that you are unfamiliar with the use of aetherites. Allow me to explain. These crystalline agglomerations tap into the ethereal energies and are primarily used as a means to travel swiftly from one place to another. Perhaps you have heard of return and teleport. Well, these transportation spells make direct use of the aetherites and their connection to the flow of aether. Given that there is an aetherite in almost every corner of Eorzea, any adventurer with a mind to explore the realm will wish to seek out and attune herself to each and every one. But even if you have no intention of wandering beyond the Sultanate's borders, it would be prudent for you to attune yourself to any aetherites you encounter from now on. I pray that you found that informative. Should you wish to learn more about the aetherites or transportation magic, I should be happy to answer your questions. We have learned the spell of return, which will bring us back here until we attune somewhere else. By the way, if you guys need to read these tooltips, do let me know. I've read them so much, it's kind of instinctive to close them, because I keep forgetting to turn off those tips every time I start playing. It is weird coming through Uldar and having people's names be, just initials. That's mostly done for privacy reasons. I don't want to, get anybody, share anybody's names without them consenting, and instead of asking everybody I come across, I figured I would just go initials. Tell me, what brings you here, friend? Looking for a bit of work, perhaps? Some small job to add a little weight to that coin purse of yours? Well, you're in luck. The pugilists have just placed an order with me for several of the leather gloves and harnesses they use for sparring. But the traders are cruel, for I find myself lacking the hides required. Would that I had the few pelts of a few snapping shrews. What say you, friend? Care to help a merchant down on his luck? Bring me 5 snapping shrew pelts, and I promise to make it worth your while. You can find the creatures roaming around central Thanaland. Really? For me? You would do that? So, having run this quite a few times. What I'm going to do is run up here to the Thaumaturgist Guild, get this aetherite, talk to the people there, just because it takes so long otherwise. And this is one of those few ways I have of just speeding things up. Although I should have gone into the Pugilist Guild to start with. But I am having a complete and total mental freakout, so hopefully it doesn't look as ridiculous as I think it does. Also, I know nobody can see this, but there is like a single hair sitting over this side of my face, and it is driving me up the wall. Erasmus of the Thaumaturgist Guild is preoccupied with his studies, but his brow is furrowed in a way that cries out for help. I am Erasmus of the Order of Naldal, and I am charged with studying the anatomy of this region's fauna and the environs in which they dwell. For the dark art of our order is death itself, and power over death can only come through the knowledge of life. One day I shall publish my findings in a single comprehensive volume, The Many Breaths of Thanalan, but there is much work to be done before that day. Aid me, sister. Bring me 5 bottles of marmot blood, and perhaps I shall name you in a footnote. Rude. Marmots are hardy creatures that thrive nigh everywhere. You will most certainly find them just outside the city in western Thanalan, by way of the gate of the Sultana. Do take care. They can be feisty little creatures when threatened. On the upside, this is giving me a lot of practice for D&D. I currently DM 2 games, and one of the things that I always feel like I'm lacking just a little bit is my character voices. So hopefully throughout these streams I kind of get better at that. And if you can hear that cat, I am so sorry. That is my cat Milo. She is a little shit, and there is nothing happening to her, by the way. She just does not like not being allowed into a room. Do you have business with the Platinum Mirage this evening? Yes, I do. Also, another little tip people don't know, you don't have to click into your inventory to do this or drag them across. You can just right click on these little things and hand it over. It'll automatically pick it out. And even if you have a bunch of different items to submit, you can actually select them from a drop down menu. Saves you a little bit of time. A missive from Wymond. Alright then, let's have a look. Bird is barrened, let the hounds feast. So it goes. Oh, this? Well, you see, the guild is often contracted to provide protective services. Unfortunately for this particular petitioner, Wymond's investigation has revealed his finances to be wanting. Maybe adventurers like you don't mind working for free, but we have a business to run. I myself have 4 mouths to feed, and so this bird will have to fend for himself, I'm afraid. Ooh, pick up another quest. From Gelther. Gelther does not like the way you are looking at him, but we'll let it pass if you deliver a message for him. Hey you! I saw you looking at me. You got something to say, huh? No? Well, I do. You know Dildata. Short, broke, never pays what he owes. You know that bleeding old son. Tell him to pay up, or I swear by the 12 I'll beat him so hard it'll feel like the second coming of Dalamund. Dalamund is the moon, by the way. The one that cracked open. If I see that little shite's face, I'll end up pounding him into a bloody pulp like as not. So you go and tell him. You know, a simple please would have not gone awry. Not gonna lie. I will be doing this, by the way. The notifications, I'll get rid of them in a minute. It takes a bit, and I figured, let's get the Aetherites and minor quests out first. Oh, gods be good! Gelther's Gagoon! Alright, I'll give back every gil I owe, I swear it. But no more beatings, I beg you. Ah, that was easy. Dildata needs help to repay a long overdue debt. It does be what it is. Also, my friends tried to get me in this game because of Mahjong. Really? Mahjong is the one part of this game that I don't really enjoy. Maybe it's because there's not a lot of players for it. Though I tend to get a lot of... you don't get to play it all that often. And the matches that you do play can take upwards of like 2 hours. And I don't want to do that. So, I mean, I'm possibly going to have to if I'm going to complete everything. Dear God. What have I done? Look, I haven't got the guild on hand, but I do have this ring. Ain't much to look at, but I'm sure it'll fetch a high price. Was me dear departed mum's wedding ring, God's rest her soul. But you'll understand. Gamblers. Show up to Mane over at the ossuary, and you'll get your coin. Who wants to take a bet that this is worth nothing? I mean, sentimentally, I'm sure it's very dear, but... Mamane! Greetings, adventurer. What brings you to the Arizanath ossuary? Ossuary? I almost got through that. You wish to sell this heirloom on behalf of a Dildata? Very well. It is most unfortunate when such drastic measures be taken. And doubly so when the item in question is a fake, and such a gaudy, poorly wrought one. Also, you do know that our appraisals are not free. Normally this fee is subtracted from the agreed value. Alas, considering the negligible value of this ring, I am afraid you would still owe us. However, since this is a rather unusual circumstance, we shall waive this fee once. No need to concern yourself with the bauble. I will personally see to its disposal. Okay. So, either she was telling us the truth, or we just got scammed. And this is Ul'dah, so I don't know. Hihito has had enough of her husband's poor work ethic and needs someone to whip him into shape. How can the ossuary demand such exorbitant contributions every single moon? It's outrageous, I tell you. Don't they understand that a woman has needs? How do they expect me to pay for rouge and sun-silk dresses and feed my marmots? Oh, if only I had foresight to marry a more ambitious man. This is all his fault. Yes, Karen. If he just worked harder and showed some initiative, surely he would be rewarded, maybe even promoted. If things don't improve, it won't be long before I join the beggars in Pearl Lane. Save me from this cruel fate, I beg of you. Speak with my husband. I'm going to call him Bob. Bob or Nima. And find some way to motivate him. You should find him at the Coliseum entrance, wearing one of those ridiculous outfits. As far as I'm aware, he has a job and you don't. Thus, you don't get to say shit. That is the cutest outfit, though. I am Bob. Congratulations, you've found the world's worst husband. That is, if you believe the harpy I have for a wife. She never cooks, she never cleans, and she just gallivants spending my hard-earned money. And now I see she's speaking ill of me to bloody strangers. Well, if you're hell's-bent on meddling in my affairs, you can assist me by taking some of these France the Fair flyers and posting them on the walls inside the Coliseum. I've got a long night ahead of me standing out here, so I won't be getting to it anytime soon. When you finish, go and tell Wokan at the Guardians Guild. He should give you something for your trouble. No. What do you do? My apologies. Let's get this quest. Genevieve. Ah! What have you done? Your kind has no business to even look at a lady such as I. Such shocking, unbelievable insolence. And now look at how my gill is scattered across the ground. Pick it up, right this instant. Yeah. So, funny thing about this quest, you pick up about, technically, 5 gil. Technically. But you'll see the reward for this quest is slightly higher than that. My gil, now, and there better be naught missing. This appears to be everything. What are you still staring at? Are you expecting some kind of reward? The insolence! So, we just got 100 gil for picking up 5 gil. Gotta love Ul'dah's. I've never picked up the side quests in Ul'dah. Cannot believe Ul'dah has stories. Yes, everywhere has them. I once tried to complete all the side quests and then got bored about halfway through because I was like, oh, I'll just do this. But now I have a reason. So hopefully it should go easier. So for those of you who don't know, you have to get to level 10 and then you can switch classes. After unlocking them, of course. So what we'll be doing is trying to unlock as much as we can as we go. I will try and make the Gladiator my main, and various tanks my main classes, but I am at my core a healer main. To those of you who have played with me will find out. Just because I like to mama bear my party, and it's really hard to do that with the mindset of a tank. Welcome. You helping burp? Well, ain't that charitable of you? Francis got some pretty popular of late, and his fans keep stealing the flyers and taking them home as souvenirs. Ah, you've met Bob's wife. Now I understand. Sorry to hear you got caught up in all that. If you ask me, they're made for one another. Not that it's my place to judge, any mind. Any road, we appreciate your help. Beat red. Beatles beat red. Also, if you play this game, do pay attention to the names of these quests, because there are some hilarious ones and some where the writers knew exactly what they were doing. We will eventually get to those. Volcan of the Gladiators Guild is muttering frantically to himself about an infestation of ladybugs in the region. Carried your ass in here looking for work, eh? Well, you're in luck. Just so happen I have a deed that needs doing. Wild ladybugs have been wreaking bloody havoc on the outskirts of town. Something's in the air of late that made him ornery as oryx in a rut. Oryx are these giant, cow-like creatures? More moose-like, I guess. Big bullfuckers. Ain't much for fighting on their own, but in numbers they're more than a match for any merchant who's seen more days of the teeth than he has on the field. Well, what'll it be? Fancy putting down 4 or so at the bloody buggers, don't you? Yeah, for the guild. I'm just gonna grab this side quest first. Zazariku needs an adventurer to pick up an order from the Goldsmiths Guild. Have you come to wish me luck? I appreciate the thought, but there's no need to worry. What? You don't know who I am? The next biggest thing that's coming to the Colosseum. Zazariku is my name, and you'll be hearing all about my exploits in the coming days. I've even thought of a title for myself, the Garnet Gladiator. Tiny, did I miss much? No, not really. I've just been running around picking up side quests, and jabbering on like a dork. So, you've missed nothing. Which reminds me, I've yet to collect the circlet I commissioned from the Goldsmiths Guild. You wouldn't mind picking it up for me, would you? Yeah, checks out. Fuck you. Okay. Welcome to the Gladiators Guild, friend. Tell me, are you new to the thrills of Mortal Kombat? Well, whether you are or not, you are new to us. Tiny, yo, that was the first swear in the stream. No, I'm pretty sure I told you to fuck yourself when you wrote milk in my chat. So this would be the third stillware of the stream, I think. Whether you are or not, you are new to us. I'm 2 for 2. Yeah, you are. If you would take your place in these hallowed halls, you must be willing and ready to undergo the most rigorous training. You must endure cuts and bruises beyond counting, and life is not far worse. I'll take that as a win. I would. Space. Are we starting a swear counter? You can if you want. But I'm Australian, so good luck. A daunting prospect, I must concede, which is kind of fitting with what we were just talking about. But there is no other way if you mean to take to the Blood Sands one day. And why wouldn't you? The Colosseum is only the most celebrated of public entertainment in all of Uldar. Dibs on the first C word. I'm not going to say I'm never going to say that. I don't like using it, but I probably will at some point. Where else could a poor man amass a fortune so vast as to one day allow him to claim a seat on the syndicate? There's not an Uldan alive who isn't inspired by the rise of a self-made man. And there's no truer embodiment of this than the gladiator who wins riches and fame with his sword. Throughout its long and storied history, this guild has nurtured countless champions. Our training methods are second to none, and our members ever strive to develop new techniques. If you desire glory, to fight and triumph amidst the roar of 10,000 voices, then this is where you belong, adventurer. Think of it. Think of your legacy. And if your soul stirs, join us. I have to give her credit. That is a hell of an introduction speech. Malutsu wishes to reaffirm your desire to join the Gladiators Guild. What will it be? Will you rise above the masses and inscribe your name in legend, or will you resign yourself to mediocrity and die in obscurity? I choose life. A decision you shan't regret. Good. One moment. Make way for Lilith Dustseeker. Fresh meat coming through. Oh, good. Now, before your enrollment can be considered complete, you must present yourself to First Sword Myla. Seek her out and gain her approval. I heard Lilutsu. So you're Lilith Dustseeker. A good, strong name. Why, thank you, I picked it myself. On behalf of the Gladiators Guild, allow me to welcome you. I am Myla, Guildmaster here. And my phone is going off. Sorry. I need to put this on silence. There we go. I am Myla, the Guildmaster here. So you wish to study our arts. I presume you have your reasons for choosing the sword over all other weapons. Perhaps you think it's the easiest to learn. Hello, Cosmic Happiness. It's going good, thank you. I have been chattering on like a dog, but I'm having fun, and I hope everybody is having fun as well. So you wish to study our arts. Perhaps you have your reasons for choosing the sword over all other weapons. Perhaps you think it the easiest to learn. No, I'm actually picking the hardest class for me to play. A sword is a simple weapon, but to wield a blade well is anything but simple. Awesome. How are you doing anyway, Cosmic? If you want to respond, I don't want to put you on the spot. For every Colosseum champion to emerge from our ranks, there have been countless disappointments who failed to achieve greatness. Cosmic Happiness. I'm pretty amazing. Yeah, no fair. Chilling before some Mass Effect. Ooh, I love Mass Effect. You playing Paragon or Renegade? Bear in mind that before you answer me, Lilith, for I do not ask this question lightly, have you the strength to live by the sword, and, if it be your fate, die by it? Yeah. Yes. Then welcome, Gladiator, to your new home. Mass Effects! I need to finish Legendary. Yes. Yes, we do. Because I think Do you mean legendary difficulty, or do you mean the legendary edition? Both are good, because I adore it. I will highly encourage anyone to play it. But I do date Ashley in this one, never done it before. Fair, I never could get, I really couldn't get into the romances in the first game. Honestly, I found Caden to be quite judgmental, and Ashley was, like, super judgmental. But I can see why people like them. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't for me, but I could 100% see why people do like them, so no judgment on that. But yeah, I fucking love Mass Effect. For me, Garrus Vakarian is the best. Haha, the second one is better romance-wise. No, that's fair. Legendary Edition, it'll be after Psychonauts 2. Cool, I'll have to come by and check it out. Yeah, Emmy is amazing. Yes, it is. Let's not waste time, shall we? Given I can't romance Talia's femship, Garrus' choice, yes. Person after my own heart. I would gauge your aptitude for the sword. Just outside the gates of Uldar, you'll find plenty of marmots, hornets, and shrews. Slay 3 of each and return here when finished. A simple task, but it's essential to your training nonetheless. Now go. Well, we've been dismissed. And let's go this way. Did I get this one? No. What did you guys think of Mass Effect 3 anyway? Were you a big fan of it, or did you feel like you got a bit hit by the hype? I mean, personally, I loved most of Mass Effect 3. I really enjoyed it. Just the last little mission. I like the 3 colors of endings. Never played it after I learned the ending, but I want to do it now. I would 100% agree and play it, like, recommend playing it, just because it is so good. I mean, regardless of opinion on the ending, I'm not a fan of it, but everything up until that point is beautiful and brilliant. I played it after the Citadel DLC came out, so I missed a lot of the hype disappointment train. I have some issues with some of the way the point system is set up, and definitely not modded. Yeah, no, I get it. It was a bit weird the way they set that up. Someone's yelling at someone, it's weird. Sorry about that. Jemime. Zarazuko's servant? Just a moment, miss. Oh dear, this is so embarrassing. I'm afraid that crafting the circlets to Zarazuko's exact specification has proved somewhat difficult. We ran out of garnets halfway through our work, and we are still waiting on the next shipment. I hate to impose, but would you explain the situation to the Crooked Half at the Miners Guild? My records indicate that he was supposed to deliver the gemstones yesterday. Maybe it slipped his mind. I think the Legendary Edition for Mass Effect, though, has fixed a lot of those early game problems. Decisions. Bitter Snow's eyes are those of a man in love, wrought with worry and doubt. He appears to be waiting for someone who has yet to arrive. What could be keeping her? My beloved Yellow Moon and I promised to meet at this very spot, but 2 bells have passed and I've heard nary a word from her. Gods, I hope she's all right. As much as I wish to go off and find her, I simply cannot. What if she were to come in my absence? Please, would you search for her, I said. It's possible she's somewhere near the Weavers Guild. She's always enjoyed watching that. By the gods, do you think she's left me for someone more dapper? I try not to look like a bumpkin, but I've no mind for fashion. That was a quick turn. No, we want to go down first. Yeah, multiplayer isn't a thing, so the military, yeah, isn't half shoved into multiplayer. Yeah. Honestly, I enjoyed the multiplayer. Not gonna lie. Like, I completely get why people didn't, but it was so fun to just shoot things for a while. I never could get into, like, Call of Duty or certain other games. Sorry, my camera's flipped, so every time I go to fix this side, I keep hitting this side. Crooked Haft. Really? I have a mind to drain a pint, so hurry up and speak your business. She wants how many bloody gardens? 7 elves, lass, they don't grow on trees. No, they're from underground. But more than that, this lad what fancies himself the next Franz the Fair, ought to look worried less about style and more about swordplay. Any road, I'll do my part to ensure the little bastard gets bedecked in all the goddamn garnets he can afford, and if he dies in his first fight, well, at least he'll leave a pretty corpse. Sweet. So, we have just hit level 4, and we haven't left the city yet. We now have our main combo, however, this is a damage buff, by the way. It increases our physical damage dealt by 25%. But now we have a combo, so these two will link into each other. Also, I am fully aware that my bar optimization will not be great. I don't play tank enough to learn it. Well, I haven't. I will. But I'm hoping I will learn as we go. I have a very dear friend who is teaching me some tank stuff, but he's teaching me on Dark Knight. And I gotta say, the difference in mentalities for tank and healer are excessive. As a healer, I am constantly watching over everybody, checking my positioning, making sure I'm not dragging enemies, making sure I'm not doing too much healing to create a kind of aggro pool, basically, because it's very easy to do that as a healer. Tank, you just have to go, like, balls to the wall, I'm bigger and better than anything else in my way, and hope for the best. So it's quite a change, which is why I was really excited to kind of do it for this. God, one day I'll do Dark Knight. Dark Knight is really good. I actually really appreciate what they've done with the storyline. You'd think it's super edgy, and I'll be fair, it is, but there's a lot of nuance in its storyline that is brilliant. I can't do healer, I'm too smooth-brained, says the monk meme. I mean, to each their own, really. Honestly, tank is my worst class, which is why I want to learn and be better at it. But I took to healing quite naturally. I am a support main in real life. Of course, that means I picked characters. Tim the Euster? Thank you for the follow. I don't know why my alerts aren't popping up. I'm really sorry about that, but thank you. And thank you to everybody that's followed me. It's just come up on the activity feed for me, so thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I'm so surprised. Yeah. Sorry, what was I talking about? I was talking about, yeah, so D&D characters. I wanted to do damage dealers, but I always worry that if somebody dies because I didn't have a health spell, I will feel that for days, and I don't know if I can handle that emotionally. So pretty much every character I've had either is, well, let's be fair, I've had 2 characters, and right now one of them is an artificer that is an alchemist. She is a fox. I even had the little ears to go with it. And she heals and does fuck tons of damage. I love her. My other is a grave cleric called Nyx, who has managed to crit on every inflict wound she's ever cast. So, to the utter despair of my DM. Hey, look, we found Yellow Moon. I wonder what she's doing here. Beer girls could be good. Just look at me, this hair, this outfit, they don't match at all. I look atrocious, what was I thinking? Oh, I can't let Bitter Snow see me like this. Maybe that last tunic was best after all. Oh no. Perhaps the blue? Bitter Snow was waiting for me, but I haven't anything to wear. And we're going to leave that. Aethelwine. Aethelwine appears vexed by his work in the Weaver's Guild and is in dire need of a helping hand. Something in cream. Oh, whatever shall I do? This dress, I simply can't seem to finish it. Oh, the design is flawless, absolutely flawless, of that I have no doubt, but I simply cannot settle on a colour for the life of me. Mood. However, how would you like to conduct a bit of field research for me? I'm dying to know what colour ladies of the old are wearing these days, especially on the hustings strip. And when you're finished, please call on Liaku at the Alchemist Guild. The woman is a wizard with dyes. Have her cook up whatever colour you find is most popular. Also, Red Rose. I love this guy. Juliana, the Weaver's Guild, finds herself in a troubling loss for manpower. If it is work you seek, the Weaver's Guild welcomes you. Indeed, your timing is impeccable. A soiree is to be held with all of Uldar's elite in attendance. Once the invites went out, the orders came in, and with that a fury. Every lord and lady from Cape Deadwind to the Cinderfoot is demanding the latest fineries. I need hands, and I need them now, yet I cannot spare the time to go off in search of them. Would you care to aid us, friend? I ask no more than you welcome to our doors any willing souls you might find. Come now, let us see how you fare. Show me your warmest welcome. Okay. Welcome. Excellent. I dare say I would work for you myself. Now hurry off, we need those people. It's always funny when you can get those kind of characters that just do ridiculous things. Like, imagine if, in real life, someone asked me for a favor, and instead of just walking normally out of the room, I just leapt over the fucking balcony to leave. First things first, just going to quickly drag a welcome emote down here to save myself the time of typing it. Welcome. Work at the Weaver's Guild? I'd be lying if I said I wasn't interested. To whom might I go to inquire further? Angelia? So that AI is a little bit fucked. The Weavers are recruiting? Finally, my chance to become a famous designer. Lurking Leech. Welcome. Weaving work? Take a look at me, friend. I'm a bloody guard and on duty no less. Move along now. I mean, we're not one to judge by physical appearance. So, you could have been interested. Sasota. Welcome. I appreciate the offer, but I must refuse. I'm all thumbs when it comes to stitching and whatnot. And Bibi Shua. So the Weavers need help, do they? Sorry, friend, I'm all set for calling. I think that's all of them. Yeah, we'll quickly do that and then come back. I wonder how many levels we'll actually get for this. Doing all of these side quests in Uldar first. You've returned. Well, how did you fare? 2 potential recruits, you say? Welcome news. I only hope their zeal for fashion will show in their efforts to the guild. What we do here may seem all silk and satin to be sure, but the work within these walls is far from easy. In that, I suppose our trade is not unlike any other. Very true. And I will be back when I can level up and join this guild. So when I said completionist, I fully intend to complete all of the, like, story quests, achievements as much as I can. If I can't access them, I'll have to put them on hold until I can get a group together. Oh, but the most popular colour of late, well, all colours have their merits, of course, but if pressed, I'd have to say red. Oh, no. I will be right back. I need to do that first. There's another way. No, it'll be fine. I'll go up and then teleport down. No, I've totally got this unlocked. What are you talking about? Finish on. Why, any colour is perfectly fine for a dress, you silly thing, so long as it comes off easily at the end of the night. I mean, fair, but do you tell that to a stranger? Especially one that could punch you into the, like, stratosphere? Dodoman. What colour is in fashion? Well, I must say, I'm just back from the Gardania, and I find there's a certain verve to verdant livery. Green, you bloody idiot. Fast red. Best colour for a dress? Well, once you know what they say, once you go black, you never go back. Very true, I tend to wear black more often than not. Cordial spider. Yellow. What fairer colour than that of the name of the fairest maiden? Yellow moon. Oh, yellow moon. How my heart pines for you. Yeah. We get it. She's popular. Actually, to be fair, I do quite enjoy Yellow Moon. She comes up later in a couple of quests, and she's kind of endearing in a weird way. Bubblan. That's a fun name. Bubblan. There's never a shortage of white dresses on Aldan, ladies. Surely it's the most comfortable colour to wear under this murderous sun. Actually, now that I think of it, I would hate the heat. I do not function well in heat, in the slightest. Cornell. Personally, I've always had a thing for a motley of red and green, overlaid with stripes of purple and dark brown. Tartan. You would like tartan. I mean, fair, it is a nice colour, like colour scheme. Honestly, this place is just so pretty. I mean, look at this. There are reflections on the floor. I don't know if you can see it straight, but there are reflections for this, and they don't have to go that hard. They don't. You don't see WoW doing that. I mean, no shade on WoW, because WoW is quite a big game, and it is a lot of fun. But graphically speaking, I think Final Fantasy might have an edge here. Reflections are good. Yes, I think so. I get hung up about the weirdest things in games. I mean, you can tell people took a lot of time with this, you know? And it's always awesome to see that kind of stuff. Even if it's for like the barest of seconds. Rumor. Red, ever and always. This is Ul'dah, my dear girl, where the sun beats on your back with fiery fists, and the sins and sands are hot and unforgiving and everywhere at once. We Ul'dahs live for our passions, and our lust for life is only surpassed by our lust for lust. So, I didn't realize this, but this is like a very... What is a tasteful way to say this? Very decadent society, wouldn't you say? You are here on behalf of the Weavers Guild, are you not? Yes, Hazelwine said you'd be alone. Well, what colour is it to be, then? It sounds as though you have 2 votes for red, 1 vote each for green and yellow, white and black, 1 abstaining, and 1 vote for a motley of red and green, overlaid with stripes of purple and dark brown. By no means a resounding victory, but I suppose red it shall be. I have some catalysts I've been saving for such an occasion. Mark my words, I'm going to concoct the most vibrant red Uldar has ever seen. Alchemy may look arcane and esoteric to the uninitiated, but it is grounded in naught but science and experimentation. Indeed, I dare say it does more to advance culture and civilization than any discipline. It's really weird to have a science versus magic debate in a game where magic actually exists. And we got our very first achievement! Always a good start. Alwyn. Alwyn has need of an adventure to help him test a revolutionary new medicine. Yes, yes, yes! My work is at last complete. Mark my words, this formula will revolutionize alchemy as we know it. With just a sip of this tonic, even raging fevers will be instantly extinguished. I call bullshit. But I must needs test it, adventurer. While I produce more, I bid you take this batch to Pearl Lane, to a man there named Landibert. He is trusted by the other refugees. Persuade this Landibert to take my tonic and give it to his people. I require nothing in exchange. After all, if it is truly effective, it will be a tremendous boon to the advancement of the alchemical arts and mankind at large. Right. Honestly, I just love Uldar, if only because you can actually get access to glamours here much earlier. So, glamours are available in Horizon, well, just past Horizon, and it allows you to change what your armor looks like without changing its stats, which is very handy. And any other starting city, you'd have to progress through the story to the point where you can come to Uldar to unlock it. By starting in Uldar, we don't have to do that, we can get it much earlier. And trust me, some of these early outfits are disgusting. Well, not disgusting, they're just bad. Landibert. Huh? Medicine for the sick. We're not fools, lass. We know full well what that bastard Elwood is up to. But we'll accept his medicine nonetheless. Look at us. Beggars can't be choosers. Might be as an experiment to him, but to us it's a matter of life and death. If we've got to choose between this bastard's swill and nothing at all, was it really a choice? No, I suppose not. Landibert wishes to offer you a small token of his gratitude. Few come here by choice, and few are still bearing medicine. Your kindness shouldn't go unrewarded. This vase is important to us. I want you to have it. It's just some old pottery, I know, but it might be valued by collectors of cultural artifacts. There are men who are willing to pay good coin for such objects. If you go to the Sapphire Avenue Exchange, chances are you'll find one of them. Yes, we will. That's a good point, though. If it's a choice between, like, something unpleasant or death, is it really a choice? I mean, you could argue. We've now attuned to all of the Aetherite shards in Uldar, and that gives us access to certain gates, just so we can teleport directly outside the city. And you are, a newly come adventurer, but of course. Yes, I am Sarasota. What can I do for you? You would have me teach you the ways of the marketplace. Very wise. As for my fee, what? You expect me to do it free? Surely you jest. My dear adventurer, when you ask an Uldan for a favor, you should at least try to make it worth his while. Judging by your garb, I rather doubt you could afford my service. But the fact you offer nothing is laughable. How about a letter of introduction? I love his hair. Bastard swill. Yeah. I'm realizing I'm fucking up these words some of the time, by the way. I'm just choosing not to freak out about it because my anxiety will make it so I go mute. Oh, Mistress Memoni has instructed you seek me out, did she? Consider yourself fortunate to have such influential friends. I shall be brief and you shall be attentive. Not really. You stand in the Sapphire Avenue Exchange, the busiest and most profitable marketplace in the Sultanate. Being advantageously situated in relation to the other city-states, Uldar's markets have ever served as both the literal and figurative centres of Aeorzean commerce. Not you. Oh, my bad. All the great overland trade routes lead to our city, and the majority of maritime trade between Vilbrand and Aldenard passes through our ports. I've never been to either of those yet. Because of this, countless companies and consortia have chosen Uldar as their base of operations. They see to it that this marketplace is awash with merchants and moneylenders, day and night. Anything a man could ever desire could be purchased here, provided as he has such sufficient funds. Surely there's something you seek, adventurer. A deadlier sword, perhaps, or a shinier trinket. Whatever it is, you shall have it. To the north you will find merchants peddling armor and accessories, curatives and crafty materials. To the south you will find weapons and tools and an assortment of other useful items for sale. Seek out a particular merchant or browse to your heart's content, but do try to remain aloof should you find something that piques your interest. Decisions made in the heat of the moment are usually unwise, especially when coin is concerned. God, that's a mood. I'm so broke. I buy stupid shit all the time. Great, my adventurer is going to do that too. Ahem. That is all the complimentary aid you shall have from me, and far too much for my taste. My regards to Mumodi. Now, off with you. I'm going to be a hero, good sir. For a quick bit of clarification, these mean I can't access these quests yet. I'm pretty sure this one is a level 30 quest? Yeah, level 38. And it will unlock a side dungeon. I know that because I've done this a couple times, but quests in this game that have a blue background will unlock something for you, whether it's a leave quest, a new dungeon, all kinds of things. So, whereas the gold quests just generally are story related. Story side questy related stuff. Synthgod. Welcome, welcome! What might a discerning lady like yourself be looking for today? Pot. Permit me to examine this vase of yours. Do you say vase or vase? I hope you did not spend too much coin on this trash. A flood of life items brought in by refugees have destroyed what demand once existed. Vase. Funny, I get it now. I fucked up. Vase. Got him. I hope you did not... Yeah. What once existed? Vase, yes. So you say vase? Fair enough. The markets are fickle, my friend. If you lose sight of current trends, you stand to lose everything, as I once did. Market wars once bore my name until fate and hubris reduced me to this. For your sake, I pray that you do not have to learn this lesson the same way I did. Also, those little crystals look like nothing. Very handy for leveling crafters later, by the way. I will also say, because I haven't done that yet, I have a Discord, which I will be putting in a bunch of resources that I've collected, links to guides and stuff that I have used in the past, with full credit, of course. I'm not trying to take any of it as my own. So if you guys would like to join the Discord, please feel free. I think you can add it. Yeah, if you can't access it from my links, let me know and I'll put it into chat. I'm gonna set up a bot. Oh no. I have no idea what that says. I'm guessing that's link protection. It's just come up as asterisks. Ah! There we are. Okay, I will do a quick invite link and put that into chat for you if you guys would like to join me. I don't post much yet, but I will. In fact, she'll probably be telling me to shut up more often than not. Okay. So, as you can see, we can head out, but right now we want to head back towards Momodi. Because she will give us enough to get to level 5, I believe. Also, you will learn these cities pretty quickly. Especially if you have to keep going back and forth through them like I do. Because I keep restarting. I love that this place evolves almost with you. I mean, yes, the basic arrangement will stay the same. That won't change. But things get revealed and change in here for you. And I think that's a really good way of doing it. How was your tour of the city, Lilith? Get lost, did you? Aye, well, Uldar's a big place with lots to see and do, but wandering around aimlessly don't pay the bills. If you're serious about making a living here, you'll need to remember where things are. So when you go exploring, explore like you got a purpose, eh? Will do. Alright then, all that's left is for you to work hard, make money, and spend it here at the Quicksand. As one of my favourite characters says, we're going to need money! And lots of it! Nice chunk of experience. Bringing us to level 5. Momodi of the Quicksand wants to introduce you to a certain someone at the Uldar dispatch field. Well, youngling, how are you finding our fine Uldar then? Got your bearings about you yet? If so, mayhap it's time you ventured beyond the city walls. The bustling streets of Uldar are one thing, but the wilds of Danaland, now that's a different thing altogether. I know a bloke you might fancy speaking to. He and you, and he you. Name of Papashan. You'll find him over at the Uldar dispatch yard. No doubt he'll have some work for you. The dispatch yard's over in central Danaland. Just head out the door across the hall, and you'll see the gate of Nald staring right back at you. Pass through it and head east. You'll come along it before long. There's dangers beyond the wall, though, more than I'd care to count. Nothing so terrible, mind you, but feisty enough to attack if you draw near. Don't say nobody cared enough to warn you. Do-do-do-do-do. A fantastic voyage. Kekazani is shirking duty and could do with a wake-up call. Sure, darling, you can come for a ride. Huh? Where am I? Who are you? And more importantly, where's she going? Bugger, my shift will start already. The hell's with it. I'm bleeding exhausted anyway. Mind taking this to Giganasu at the dispatch yard outside the city? They'll probably give you something for that trouble. I mean, yes, sure. Boltolf finds himself at a loss after realizing the package he carries is not his own. Pray, let me catch my breath. I just went all the way to Scorpion Crossing for a package, but only just now realized I've returned with the wrong one. The way back is so far. I simply can't. Would you make the trip back in my stead? I'm sure some poor soul at Scorpion Crossing is missing this package. I haven't the breath left to tell you the way. Go and see. We miss you. I've never identified so quickly with a character in my life. Let's do a quick check. Okay. We're going to quickly pop... no, we'll come this way and then come back in. Because there are 3 separate areas. Oh, look, another achievement. Battle. So I use tab targeting. And I've set it to a cone, so it should do in my general area. That is my little advice to you guys. It certainly helps. I also have Legacy, a different type of movement on. Normally your camera controls the way you move, like that. But with Legacy you can run without shifting the camera around. You move independent of the camera. Yes, thank you. I love that all the adventures start with you, in MMOs anyway, start with you getting, like, killing some poor defenseless fucking pests. Like, these guys weren't bothering anybody. I forgot to do a thing. God damn it. I've got to go clear my notifications. Oh. I will quickly do that, just because it gives me gear. So I am now looking for a delivery Moogle, which will have a bunch of shit that is account-wide. That's what this 20 is. But what it will also give me is an experience buff, which I will use to level up early. Oof, sorry, I skipped through that. Why indeed, if I had my way, I'd be curled up under the canopy of an ice oak, dreaming about some beautiful mooglet with a rainbow-coloured pom-pom, Kupo. But no, the moon had to go and drop from the sky, causing all of that terrible commotion. Aetherites were shattered and link pearls were rendered useless. For moons, the poor wingless people of Eorzea had no way of communicating with each other, beyond screaming at the top of their lungs, which no one really approved of, Kupo. That is until the little horned one asked us to assist them by delivering their messages. At first we were wary of showing ourselves, worried that one of you would catch us and skin us like you do for every other forest fairy. But once we saw how much you appreciated us, we knew we found our new calling. And I personally promised to try and not read any along the way, Kupo. Look what we have here. 20 new letters have arrived just for you, Kupo. Your mailbox is a complete... Oh boy, it's a complete and utter mess. There wasn't any room left, so I just sent back 40 letters, Kupo. Oh boy. Okay. Delete that. This is going to take me a few minutes, so... I have so much shit. So I have a bunch of group mounts that I picked up. Some of them I bought, some of them were given as part of it. And I will go through all of this in a minute. I'm gonna delete that. So I made this character about 6 days ago, just for getting things started. Thank you, Counts. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you dropping in. Have a good day, and I hope to see you again soon. I keep forgetting to delete these things. But now we get the cool stuff, the outfits. I've got it all set to go into my inventory. That is simply because later on it is just so much easier than clogging up my armory chest and having to fill it. I also got an emote, which is nice. I'll be honest, I don't know what the Tantalus is. Like, I feel like I should as a fan of Final Fantasy, but I've only played 2 other Final Fantasy games, and that was 13 and the remake of Interrograde, which I feel like loses me some cred, but, you know. Ah, yes. Referral codes. I got a draw checker. They're really cute. We won't actually be able to use it for a while, though. You can't see my chat box because it is right behind my face, but it is now full of really stupid things. Just saying, oh, you've taken all of these. Really should have done this before. Oh well. I wonder why I had 50. Seems weird. I hope everybody's having fun. I hope you guys aren't getting too bored with me just nattering on. Although you did click on the stream to see me natter on, I guess. I'm glad, Waffle. If you guys have any questions, by the way, I know a lot about this early game stuff, so... By the way, Final Fantasy actually allows you to play up until level 60. You can still play after level 60, you just can't level up past level 60. And to the end of the Heavensward expansion for free. So if you guys wanted to join, you can. Okay, so you see, I now have a bunch of shit. I can get an indigo whale, a carriage whistle. So these are the multi-class, multi-seat ones. And where is the next one? Let me just quickly sort these items so that they do that. There we go. Alright, I'm just gonna get all of them. I got a bunch of minions. Yeah, like I said, I have been playing this game for quite some time. And paying for the subscription for very bit longer. There's just so much to do, I find, in this game. And it's clear this is a labour of love for a lot of people. You can just tell with some of these side quests that they've done. It's just, you know, someone clearly spent time on it and clearly enjoyed what they were doing. Also, we now have a bunch of minions, which I will be able to call out at any point. I'll probably set up a random favourite. And so we can even set up something where you guys get to choose when I randomise them, or you get to choose what minion runs around with me. That'll be fun. Emotes are fun. That is the fist bump emote, and it looks ridiculous. This, however, is a very interesting thing. A Vial of Fantasia. Now this will allow me to change my classes, my character's race and gender at any point. The only thing I have to do is unequip everything and then use it, and it'll log me out so I can do it. But what you don't... So I technically got this with the Collector's Edition. However, you do get one at the end of the main story quest for A Realm Reborn. So if you're not liking your character and you've invested a lot of time into them, be assured you can change them later if you want to, without having to pay for it. This is a set of Behemoth Barding. That will be for a mount later on. Yeah, I thought it was pretty nice. I thought they didn't have to do it, but they did, and yeah. I'm just going to quickly open up the armory chest and drag this stuff in here. So what these are glamours, pretty much. But because I was an idiot, I could probably just, yeah, do it that way. I will admit, my favourite set of this... That is a good point, is there? No. There is not a shift click. So, I'm sure there's a quicker way to do this, but my brain doesn't want to work. I have a lot of little tricks and tips, but I also forget like a shit ton of stuff. Okay. We're not going to have that helmet showing, but we are going to wear it. And so this helmet increases XP from battle, crafting, and gathering when we're level 10 and below. Increases up to 20%. Combined with that is an Aetherite earring that increases XP by 30% as long as we're under level 70. And it will grow with our character as we go. And because I am on the Australian server, which is brand new, and they're encouraging people to join it, we have this little buff, the road to 80. So while we're under level 80, we will have a dramatic increase in experience earned, which is very handy. Let's make sure... I don't remember what else it could be, but... Okay. Well, so in that, I'm gonna run off. Whew, I have not talked this much in a while. Even when I'm DMing, I tend to get to go quiet for a little bit. Speaking of, if anyone has questions about D&D, please hit me up, because the more you ask, the more I learn as well. So, plus, D&D is just freaking awesome. Although I'm pretty sure everyone watching plays it. I mean, I don't recognize all the usernames, but I'm still happy to see you. Delivering package, are you? In that case, you want to speak to us when you arrive. Yes, I will. Thank you. That was the communication person for learning where the train yard is, and funnily enough, it's going to be pretty easy to find. The blood. Have you brought it? Yes, I did. Yes, this shall serve nicely. By virtue of your toil, I am one step closer to publishing the many breaths of Fanlan. Thank you. Take this as recompense. Go now, and may the Triders smile upon you. As we are a Disciple of War, which is basically a melee class, we will be taking that one. I now have, what is the key kit for any tank? My AoE. So I will be using that in dungeons to grab and basically hit as many enemies as I can as we're going and try and get them to pay attention to me. And now we're in Western Finland. I'm going here first because it has the snapping shrew and the ladybugs that I need. I think it has a snapping shrew. If not, I've got time. I mean, what else am I going to do with my time, right? So as you can see, I kind of just combo into these two. Not much to be said. It's still weird to me though, because I know what happens in the rest of A Realm Reborn, and to know that you start here is ridiculous. I mean, it makes sense. Over there is the entrance to the residential area, so that's where players can buy houses. At the moment, none of them are open because we're waiting for the new patch 6.1 to drop to unlock it, which is giving a lot of... there we go, 2 mountains. Which is giving a lot of new players a chance to gain gil, but they're going to be very expensive. Hi Stoneflate, thank you for the follow. It's going to be very expensive to get a place in Final Fantasy, but it's worth it if you can. They're going to be introducing a new system where they kind of do an auction instead, a lottery, sorry, and it'll make it much more fair because there are a lot of players on this game that have a lot of gil. No problems, looking forward to finding out how this game works. I'm glad. We're just going through some early, basically all the side quests at the early start of this, and right now we are returning a package. We will be the famed heroes of the realm, but right now we are level 5, level 6. Yeah. But I think that the new system that they've brought in for it will let newer players get a chance to get a house, because older players have got a lot of gil and can get online a lot quicker than a lot of other people can, so you get them snapped up so quick. It has been almost impossible to get a place on Final Fantasy. It's gone, I just know it. God, as if I had enough problems already. You took the wrong package, Bolter, you bloody oaf. Well, what do you know? The Horizon package, you're a 12 cent. You spared me quite a headache, friend. Thank you. If only there were so many other misplaced shipments plaguing me these days. You'd think they'd have something for that. There are a bunch of people around here. Again, since we're a Disciple of War, we're going for that. And because it's better than what we've got, we're going to just immediately equip it. And, yeah. Neither rain nor heat nor gloom of night. Or my personal favourite, nor gloom of knit. Very patchy. Also, I'll need your help to locate a misplaced shipment. You've time to spare, don't you? Make yourself useful and help me find my missing crates. The manifest clearly states that 3 crates bound for East Aldenau Trading Company were included in the latest shipment from Vesper Bay, but I can't seem to find the bloody things. They ought to be around here somewhere, but I can't waste any more time looking. If you find the crates, bring them to me. I hope I get killed for this. Guntram, a dabble do ya? The trader Guntram is furiously ransacking his cargo at the Scorpion Crossfitting, looking for all the world like a man who has misplaced something. No, this can't be happening. There's no time for sending for more. Use there. Please, you must help me. Go and kill as many cactuars as you can to gather 4 bottles of their blood. I don't care if you have to hunt the little green bastards to extinction. Please, there's no time to explain. Just know that my very life hangs in the balance. For the love of gods, hurry, woman. You know, I have other things to do. There's actually no time limit on this. You can go do the main story and come back, and he will not say anything different. I know this because I completely forgot to do this quest and then came back and just turned it in. Said nothing. So, I guess his life really wasn't in balance. I always get this wrong. For those of you who don't know, I am playing currently an Ura, which is basically a dragon person. Hence the horns and things, and the tail. They actually have a bunch of really interesting lore, especially this version, the Zayla. So Zayla were seen as calamitous, like their birth was calamitous, and are thought to carry that calamity with them wherever they go. I just think they look really cool, and I love me a good tragic backstory. Did you find my crates? Why yes I did. Great job, friend. These will make for the next wagon, thanks to you. The shipments never stop coming, day in and day out. Just keeping track of everything is enough to give me migraines. Business is good, true, but what use is money if you haven't the time to spend it? I haven't downed a pint with a friend in weeks. Dude, I don't think anyone's done that with COVID. Oswald, I believe you can fly. Oswald is holding a letter addressed to someone at the Silver Bazaar. Boxes, crates, barrels, lifting, moving, stacking, there's no end to it. I'm tired, so very tired. Mood. Say, friend, do a hard-working stranger a kindness, would you? See this letter safe to Kikipoo. Kikipoo? At the Silver Bazaar. I'd call it on myself, but I haven't the time, and I doubt these weary legs could carry me there, even if I did. I'd like to send her something nice along with it. Could I trouble you to scratch up, say, 5 hammerbeak tail feathers? Gods know you can find the beasts around here easily enough. Kikipoo's a dear old friend. She's called the Silver Bazaar home for, well, far too long. There's been ill rumours of the place of late. I'd just like to make sure she's well is all. See, they don't have to go this hard with side quests. They don't, but they do. Like, I don't think I've had any of the side quests that I've done in this game. These are cactuars, by the way. Mostly harmless, except for later on when they do a attack called 1,000 Needles. If you get caught by it, it's like 1,000 points of damage. And since I only have 207 health, that would be very bad. Level up, baby. You'll notice I'm not using my AoE, and that's mostly because I don't have the ability to fight off a bunch of these without losing a lot of my health. I don't have my health skill as of yet. But I will. I'll get that pretty soon. Oop, didn't need to kill him. No. Gotta get myself right. If you pickle them, they're tasty according to sorted food. Yeah, I've heard that. Although, given that these ones are sentient, that's a little bit terrifying. I suppose I don't have that much room to say anything considering I just murdered 5 of them. Have you bought the cactuar blood? All 4 bottles? Show me. A little grim, but okay. Green cows. Phew, you saved my hide, friend. Just stopped to give my cargo a check on the way to Uldar, and saw that all my bottles of Razitan? Skin tonic were as empty as a Garlean promise. Garlean refers to the Empire, the Garlean Empire. They are the bad guys in this game. Looks as though the lids shook off in transit and a whole load spilled right out, but I refuse to have it said that Guntram failed to make good on a delivery. Cactuar blood is supposed to help to keep the skin supple. I'll just use what you've bought to fill the empty bottles, and all those lovely Uldan ladies will be none the wiser. That's horrifying. Oh, don't worry about getting found out. Razitan skin tonic is still a rare find, all the more out this far south. I'd venture none in Uldar would even know it from an ampule of their own piss. That's still not okay. Just because we're not going to get found out doesn't mean that it's fine. So, you notice that this one has a blue background, whereas the others had gold. This will unlock something for us, and what this one will actually unlock is the residential area. Umi has information that may interest wealthy adventurers. I have 1,000 guilds my name. I am not wealthy. Have you heard the news about the Goblet? All that quality land, so desperately coveted, is to be auctioned off to bidders regardless of their origins. Even adventurers had the right to participate. Just imagine, the entire area could end up owned by wealthy foreign... I beg your pardon, miss. It isn't that I dislike adventurers, far from it. But when you consider that Uldar is still struggling to accommodate countless refugees, the idea that this land is being sold off for profit is not surprising whatsoever, come to think of it. Yeah, no, Uldar is basically the town where you can buy anything and everyone. Still, the least they could do is give preferential treatment to hard-working Uldans like me. I've been saving for years, just waiting for an opportunity like this to come along. Say, you wouldn't have been curious as well, would you? About the Goblet. My hands are full here, but if you remember to head that way and look into this auction business on my behalf, I'd be ever so grateful. There's bound to be an Immortal Flames representative by the gates or in the Goblet. Immortal Flames is a grand company. There are 3, and Immortal Flames is the Uldar version. You have the Maelstrom, which is Linfalo-Minsa, which is my second favourite city, and the Twin Adders, which are Redania, which is where the Conjurer starts. Who can explain what's going on? This wouldn't happen without General Rauban's approval, that much I'm sure. General Rauban is one of my favourite characters, not gonna lie. When we meet him, I'm gonna be so happy. She has a worry about the condition of her chocobo. That's what these birds are called, by the way, the chocobos. You there, yes you. You're an adventurer, are you not? We just had a conversation, but yes. You travel about Eorzea, slaying beasts and finding treasure, that sort of thing? Eventually. I need of help. I must travel to Horizon where my cargo awaits, but my chocobo slugger won't move an inch. An ilm. I tried to have a closer look, but I saw a vile pair of antennae protruding from his feathers and I lost my nerve. I love Slugger with all my heart, but bugs I cannot do. I fear he may have a parasite ladybug that's gorging itself on his blood. Check it for me, would you? And if you do find a ladybug dug in there somewhere, kill the damn thing. Hi, Slugger. Quick. I can't make chocobo noises for the life of me. But we got this. He's very happy. Slugger says thank you, and you've my thanks as well. I was sure as sunup it was a parasite ladybug. Must have lurched itself on somewhere along the road, but how the bloody thing managed to stay concealed at that size is a complete mystery. In fact, I'm not even going to question it, and I'd like to just move on and put all this behind me. If we don't keep our chocobos healthy, cargo won't be able to move over land. We owe these birds a great debt. I wish more folk could see that. I love chocobos. I really do. I know that there's a game that's come out recently that is just chocobo racing, and I respect it, but this game does chocobo racing, and I kind of like it more. No shade, of course. Margie. Heard about the auctions, have you? You're not the first to approach me this eve. Aye, 'tis true. In an effort to encourage immigration to our great nation, all lands within the Goblet area are to be set aside for adventurers such as yourself. Tragic, some might say, that only adventurers will be permitted to settle within its walls. But such decisions were made by wiser men than I. A beautiful place, the Goblet. A man-made oasis built atop a towering butte. Butte? Butte. But. But why bother explaining when you can see it for yourself? Just head through these gates and follow the road. If you wish to know more about the Goblet, speak with the recruit station just past the entrance. He will be happy to assist you. Yeah. Yes, thank you. I don't think I can go to the residential area yet. Cool. Yeah, I cannot go to the residential area and thus cannot complete this quest at the moment. So it's just going to sit in my thing for a while. Oh well. That said, I know that there are a bunch of quests to do over here, but we're actually going to have to come back here soon, and I would like to go and do the rest of the Way of the Gladiator and pick up a new quest for that. Don't worry, that doesn't mean my completionist run is already broken. You can do it, I just have to wait for the housing to open back up. So they'll let us. Also, you can see people have titles. You will pick them up as you go through the game. I have none because I have just started. Also, this lovely little guy here, the itinerant Moogle, is part of an event that's currently on. You can get a bunch of stuff from them by completing certain dungeons. I don't think I'll be able to get to them before the event ends, because you have to unlock them and that takes time. But if I do, we will probably do a farming stream at some point. I mean, I plan to do farming streams anyway to get mounts later, but, you know, it is what it is. Also, starting in Uldar gives you access to one of the best characters early. And I say this because it is voiced by one of my favorite voice actors. He is voiced by one of my favorite voice actors, Taliesin Jaffe. And honestly, can we just admit that's such a cool fucking name? Like, it sounds like a name for a superhero. Like a proper fantasy superhero. He is a voice actor that has so much to his fucking portfolio. Which I'm probably telling you guys you already know. Oh. And we're going to meet him soon, actually. Is that enough? I will get more, but because he's here, I'm going to quickly just talk to Papa Shan. Well, you certainly look the part of an adventurer, my friend. Might you be the good soul Momodi advised me to expect? I am Papa Shan, station master of this humble dispatch yard. $5 he's not. empty title, I assure you. I am truly no more than a tired old Lalafell passing his final years in quiet and solitude. You're not convincing, my dude. 12, no, 12 is referring to the 12 gods, by the way. 12, no, there have been plenty of both these last 5 years since the calamity struck. The devastation was vast. Yet now, true Uldans work together, doing all in our power to rebuild what was laid to ruin. By the sweat of our brows and the love of our homeland, we have rebuilt Uldar to the grandeur and majesty that you see today. The railways which run through this dispatch yard, too, were born of noble efforts of a great many souls. But there is still much work to be done. The wounds left by the calamity run deep. Isolated areas beyond our lines of supply remain. There are places yet wanting for relief and restoration. Uldar needs the aid of you and your brethren, friend. In fact, never has our need been more dire. Funny that. Which brings me to the point, I suppose. I do believe I may have some work suited to one of your ability. Again, Disciple of War. We just got one of the first mitigation abilities in this game. So, I'm gonna pop that up here. So this will reduce damage by 20%, and it's basically the tank's job to take as much damage as they can and survive it. And mitigation helps you do that. It buys your healer some more time to kill, to get you out of the danger zone. For a healer, it is the best thing ever, because it buys you so much time to get the tank off of, like, danger, like, levels of health, but it's not a cure-all. I mean, it's very handy, but if you still don't heal them, they're going to die. Anyway, Papashan has another quest for us. Station Master Papashan has a simple task for a fledgling adventurer. Nothing to see here. Since you've come all this way, perhaps you can perform an errand for me. It just so happens that a number of sentries have been sent to guard the area, a dispatch to the dispatch yard, as it were. They have long been away from shade and feather beds of the city. The hot days and cold nights can play hells on the mind and body out there. There isn't much to go on, but give them these twilight pretzels, would you? I find comfort food always helps when I feel like killing myself. Fair enough. I don't remember that line. You can see that I have to take these out because of these little marks of their heads, by the way. I mean, I know that the name is one that I have to do, but even if the quest wasn't up, it would still have them there. Just so you know about it. We're going to run back this way. Oh, save me, scorching days, freezing nights. This post will be the end of me. A twilight pretzel. Don't mind if I do. Ah, now that's a refreshing godstamp pretzel. I feel reborn. Really? Is that what we're going with, is it? Things do start a little slow, I guess. I mean, all of Realm Reborn kind of has this, oh, damn it. Didn't mean to do that. Hold on. I'll get up to it. All of Realm Reborn has this kind of fetch questy stuff, but they do improve that as you go through the game. Especially as you get into later expansions like Heavenswood, which is a masterful expansion, by the way. Honestly, it gets you right in the heart. Western front clear, eastern front clear. Guess who gets a pretzel? For me? From Papashan? A twilight pretzel, my favourite! How did he know? Can't fight on an empty stomach now, can I? Actually, I can't fight on any stomach. I suppose you would say I have no stomach for fighting. Then why are you a guard? I mean, I respect people and their choices, but that seems an odd one to me. I'm aware that I've just moved past a giant green check mark. I will come back to it because I have to come back this way. I used to call Final Fantasy XIII a corridor simulator just because that sound, I hope that you can hear it. I have no idea if you can. But that sound that you hear of her walking is all you would hear in Final Fantasy XIII, just them clomping down corridors, even when it didn't make sense. They have clearly retained their ways. Halt! Madam, I'm going to have to ask you to put the pretzel on the ground and place your hands above your head. No. State your name and business. A Twilight pretzel from Papashan. By the gods forgive me, you could say this new post has my nerves in a twist. I'm terribly sorry for that. Yes, well, you may rest assured the dispatch yard is safe so long as I stand watch. Please give Papashan my thanks and tell him I only wish I could repay the favor. I wonder what they're looking for. This is the guy we were sent to give the timesheet to, by the way. Hey, what are you doing with that timetable? I've been looking all over for it. Got it from Kikazani, you say? Why, that useless drunk. I'll wager he was out all night again chasing after skirts. That's it. The next time he misses his shift, I'm tying him to the tracks. Seems drastic, but fair. There we go. You've returned, and will deal fewer pretzels, I see. Tell me, how fare our Sultan Swan sentries? Do they have anything to report? Anything at all? What? Nothing? Are you sure? Oh dear, oh dear. Take this for your troubles then. And stay a moment, there is more I would ask of you. Ooh, a new weapon. Lilith, I have just this moment. No, the time for concealment is past. Really? The truth is, even before I had you deliver those pretzels, I was privy to some unsettling news. Which is the real reason I sent you to meet those Sultan Sworn. Papashan is in dire need of your assistance. Really? Truly? A young noblewoman from a very prestigious family has run away from home, and I have been ordered to see to a safe return. The Sultan Sworn you met earlier are assisting with the search. Alas, it seems they have found no trace of her. I apologize for not being frank with you from the start, but I fear we must proceed with less caution. Should word of her disappearance spread, I fear others with less honourable motives should join the hunt. And should we allow her to come to any harm, not even 100 beheadings would be punishment enough. She sounds important. That cannot happen, Lilith. It must not. Also, this guy is supposed to be super old, but all that really says that is the hair, and I respect it. I need you to help me find her. Praise the 12, I knew I could count on you. I've instructed the others to expand the search, but Thanalan is vast, and there are only so many of us. The young noblewoman's name is Lady Lilira. I want you to go south and look for her in the vicinity of the Sultan Tree. Good luck. I wonder where she could be. It's almost like we were supposed to find her. One thing you do kind of forget as you progress through this game is, one, how pretty some of the environments are when you have to walk through them, and two, kind of just how big everything is. If that wasn't noise enough for you. You know, for a bunch of people looking for her, they really didn't look very hard. So this means an instance encounter, by the way. It will send you to a battle, but it's one that no one else can help you with. Oh, Sultan Tree. And this is just the explanation for that. We will be level synced to level 8, which is fine, because we're only level 9, so we're not going to lose all that much.
Oh, Sultan Tree, hallowed spirit of my line, forgive my weakness. My failings have cost us dear. Show yourself.
I wasn't particularly hiding, but she wasn't talking to me.
As you command, O Lilira.
Taliesin. Bye, Sofo. Thank you for dropping in.
Forgive my selfish desire to assure your welfare.
I don't recall requesting an escort. Simply pretend we never met and continue on your way.
We both know I can do no such thing. It isn't safe for you here alone. It isn't safe for anyone. Not with this etheric disturbance. It's as though the dead are watching us. And I'd prefer not to join them, if it's all the same to you.
I mean, if we have a choice.
Ah, you must be the one that Papa Shan mentioned. Congratulations on finding our elusive young charge. You'll have to forgive her impetuousness. What she lacks in discipline, she makes up for in stubbornness. You should return with us. The station master will be eager to thank Lady Lilira's protector in person. Alas, the station master will have to wait. Dear Lilira, for my sake, please stay out of harm's way. As for you, dear friend, for Lilira's sake, please stay in harm's way.
Here we go. First boss battle. Come, let's attend to our uninvited guest. So interestingly, his health will, you still have to attack, but he will not die until certain points. And you never get the point to actually just like chew his health down really quickly because of the level sync. But they've made it so that he will heal you as well. Not the blugger. Our handsome stranger over here will heal you if you get too low on health. However, for the most part, you're not going to be dealing with too much damage. See, I can handle this part of the fight just fine. Hitting things pretty easy as a tank. But what I can't handle is managing enmity all that well, which is something I hope to learn to do. Gotta admit, liking the connectivity. It's so weird. I'm used to playing on the European servers, and the lag in between hitting a button and having things happen is a good couple of seconds. And while stream is causing me a bit of lag, it's not that bad. And thus our duty is complete. So we've heard this voice before, in the opening cutscene, where we were treated to a vision. And this is the Calamity, or at least I think it is. She looks so unimpressed, I love it.
Crystal bearer. I am Heidelin. All need one. A light there once was that shone throughout this realm, yet it hath since grown dim. And as it hath faltered, so hath darkness risen up in its stead, presaging an end to life. For the sake of all, I beseech thee, deliver us from this fate. The power to banish the darkness dwelleth in the crystals of light. Journey forth and lay claim to them. By thy deeds shall the crystals reveal themselves to thee. Only believe, for the light liveth in thy heart.
Really? Rocket power. I am but one of many.
Go now, my child, and shine thy light on all creation.
Coming around now.
Yep. They just stand over me? That seems weird.
Would you mind telling me what that was?
If I only knew. A denizen of the void at any rate.
Void is the bad place.
The void sent? Here? But how?
Minions of the dark.
The question isn't how, but who. We're not dealing with bookless bandits. Don't suppose the answer came to you in a dream?
A little bit.
No sooner did you fell the beast than you fell asleep. Too much ether, no doubt.
If you only knew.
Interesting. I hadn't considered the crystal. But of course, this changes everything. Oh, just thinking aloud? At any rate, we haven't a moment to spare. I must return and report this at once. I leave Lady Lilira in your capable hands.
How dare you pass me about like a swaddled babe? I shall return and tell them myself.
I do love Lilira.
As you wish, your impetuousness.
Hint, hint.
I suspect we shall meet again before long. Until then,
Given that you're a highly paid voice
try and
actor
stay awake.
in this, I would assume you're a more important character than you seem. Rude. He is also listed in this game not under Talisa Jaffe, but as T. Axelrod. So if you see that name anywhere, it's him. Now we gotta make sure she got back okay. By the way, if any of this is too hard to read, please do let me know and I'll fix up the HUD size. I just like having it quite small because it's bigger on my screen. But I like having it quite small so it doesn't clog up as much. And gives me more of like the area to play in. Thank the gods you've returned. You had us all so worried. You do realize what would happen if a person of your noble stature were to be injured, or worse? Why, Her Grace the Sultana would be beside herself with grief, and so would her subjects. I dare say they'd be weeping in the streets. But I have already given you cause to weep, Papshan. You and the people of Uldar. No. Please, you're not to say such things. We will find it, I swear to you. It is not my place to make demands, my lady, but I beg you, please stay out of harm's way. I apologize for causing you undue worry, Papashan. I shall refrain from traveling unescorted in the future. Someone once described the walk animation for the Lalafels as a full diaper walk, and I've never been able to unhear it. I cannot thank you enough, Lilith. I understand you fought bravely to protect Lady Lilira from the void-sent fiends. For all your gallant service, you deserve all the riches in the royal vaults. Alas, a small token of my gratitude is the best I can offer. We're telling him about Thancred. A sarcastic man with a strange contraption strapped to his shoulder. I see you met Thancred. He's a scholar, really, that spends his days investigating oddities in the aether. Rather too fond of the sound of his own voice for my liking, but perfectly harmless. As for you, Lilith, you're just the sort of adventurer we need around here. I pray you, show the same kindness to the people of Thanalan as you did to us today. Da 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 da. Stacey Doa. He's a reliable adventurer to deliver a gift to the coffer and coin. You're an adventurer, yes? If you're not otherwise occupied, I have a favour to ask. I resolved to pay a debt of gratitude which I owe to the owner of the coffin. For this purpose I have purchased from the royal plantations a prodigiously plump pumpkin, a particularly popular piece of produce. Alas, I cannot part this place to procure and proffer the pumpkin, you see. The scheduled shipment from the Nanawar mines, for which I wait, is late. I will prevail upon you to pick up the pumpkin in my stead and see it safely to the coffer and coffin. Present this receipt of purchase to Gagari at the royal plantations and she will yield it to you. I apologize for asking you to attend to this time-consuming task, but I truly appreciate your assistance. Yeah, you better. So what we're going to do is pick up the rest of this quest and then head over to the Aetherite in the area, and then we'll teleport back and turn in these other quests. Giggery, if CCDO doesn't come calling soon, this spectacular specimen shall sadly be past its prime. Also, I have to appreciate the game for giving me a bunch of P sounds when I'm trying to stream. Oh, so you're to deliver this decadent delight. I can say with confidence that any gourmand would be grateful for such a grand gift. Here is the pumpkin. I hope it meets with Roger's approval. Fresh produce is somewhat scarce in these parts, and as such we are always deluged with demands. You know the way to the coffin, correct? It is beyond the bridge to the northwest. Look for a place for the local labourers' lounge. Hihiaya. Needs help thinning out the snipping shrew population. That land has ever been a barren region. Believe me when I say it takes no small amount of effort to grow crops here. We've even introduced earthworms to the soil in order to enrich it. Alas, they've been nigh eradicated by snipping shrews, burrowing critters native to this part. Unless we save the earthworms, this entire plot won't yield so much as a single pumpkin next harvest. Won't you help us by thinning out the shrew populations? The shrew hills would be the best place to start. Why, yes. Yes, I will help you. There is something very satisfying about this game, in a completionist sense, because there's so much to do and there's so many things to take care of. When you do complete something, it just makes your brain happy. Oop, gotta go back. And we learned some new things. An idle adventurer is a sorry sight. I have no need of assistance at the moment, but perhaps someone at Coffer and Coffin wants for a helping hand. Urubaru, the resident chief, comes to mind. The man is obsessed with inventing new dishes. I hear his current fascination is fish. If you were to donate some to his cause, I'm sure he'd be grateful. Now, I'm a simple farmer and don't know much about fish, but I do know what I like, and I like Orobon. You won't find a more succulent fish in these parts, I tell you. If you have a mind to give some fish to Orobaru, I can wholeheartedly recommend fatty Orobon. 4 slices or so should be enough for him to experiment with. We have unlocked the Oath Gorge, which is this little pop-up here. And that basically tells us, which is, I've moved it down here, it allows us to increase our enmity gain. So that's called tank stance, and in dungeons, most of the time, tanks will have to have this on. The only time that they really won't is if they're playing off-tank, but we're miles away from that kind of content at this point. There we go. I hope you all are still enjoying this. My real intentions with this stream are just to create a kind of comfortable place where you can sit back and just listen to me well, you don't have to listen to me, but just listen and do other things, I guess, while I ramble. I mean, seriously, look at this! It is so cool. Sharp eyes of yours might have noticed these. These are called fates. They're basically group-timed events that you can jump in. That's what I have the level sync macro for. Later on, you need to farm certain fates to get certain items, and that will make it quicker. Ubaru. Fish! Fish! Futile! There are no suitable species, but I shall not surrender. Oroban! Of course! But wait, how did you know of my Epicurean inverter? Well, it matters not. The solution you suggest is sensational. Sauté with salt and a squirt of lemon. So simple and yet sublime. Fish is a costly commodity here in Dunlan. Were it not for your local largesse, I would have been forced to fork out a fortune to have some brought hither. Thank you. No, thank you for that hell of a sentence to read. Meets an adventurer to furnish him with fresh shrew meat. Ah, bugger, my stores of shrewmeat are nearly naught. The meat is an indispensable ingredient for making my smoked shrew loaves, which are famous for their fantastic flavour. Fortunately, I am no fool. In preparation for this possibility, I have set 2 barrel traps outside of our establishment. Alas, I am not accustomed to butchering live beasts. If you could do so in my deed, do the deed in my stead, and bring me the meat, I can continue to cook. Why, hello, Roger. Drink for your lassie. You want to get better ale or spirits for your coin, then enter my place. Have a pumpkin. What's that? Miss Isidora asked you to bring this here to me. Ha! So even that foul-mouthed drunk knows the meaning of remorse. Reckon this is for the time I carried his drink-sodden ass back home. But hells, an honest-to-goodness pumpkin from the royal plantations. I can't wait to see what cooks will do with her. The lads here scoff down beastly amounts of meat, and it's starting to tell on their health. It'll be good to get more vegetables in their bellies, assuming I can get the stubborn bastards to try something new. Thanks for the help, lassie. Also, I apologize for that accent. I'm not good at it. There we go. That's a bit better. Roger hears all sorts of information in his line of work, some of which may be useful to you. Word is, Blackbrush Station is sorely on demand. The stone torches there can't get a moment's peace. Oops. Bloke by the name of Waring is hoping to bolster their numbers for a short-term assignment or two. If you fancy putting in a few extra gil in your pocket, you could do a lot worse. Yep. Whoop, this way. So this lovely thing is a world boss. And as long as I don't trigger, like I don't hit them, they should leave me alone, because that is level 50, and I will get killed. Level 11. One interesting thing that Final Fantasy does is that it allows you to switch between classes at will. So you can be healer, tank, DPS, all that good stuff. But it also sets up a bonus XP to for the discrepancy between your highest level class and the class you're currently in. So I would, if my gladiator got to like level 90, but I had a class at level 1, it would get a boost in experience to help catch up almost to that level 90. It'd still take time, don't get me wrong. But, yeah, it's a really handy little system. Have you carved up the critter. Quickly, else my customers will complain. Slathered in my secret sauce and smoked, it is a symphony of savoury sensations that will satisfy even the most critical connoisseur. It takes time to prepare it properly, though, so I fear we may be forced to deny our dedicated customers their desired dinner regardless. Fuck you. Well, that would be 4, I guess. I swear it's on camera. Looking for work, perchance? If so, you couldn't have come at a better time, finally. We stone sorters are sellswords hired by Amalda and Sons Mineral Concern to protect its interests. Our primary duty here is to keep the tracks clear of pests, and it is for this purpose we require your aid. I should point out, however, that it can be messy work, and liable to get messier still if you're ill-prepared. A single piece of gear can mean the difference between life and death. I'll not have it on my conscience that I sent an ill-equipped adventurer to an untimely demise. See to it that your arms and armour are in order. When you are ready, present yourself to me again. Basically, I have to have an item level of 5 for all of my armour. I do. So, you are ready for inspection? Good. Everything appears to be in order. Yet know that naught is guaranteed in this world. Fate is a fickle mistress, after all. At any rate, capable adventurers like you are few and far between, and I would not have you throw your life away. I have had to bury too many comrades who brushed aside cracks in their hauberks and dints in their arms. No matter what you face, do not disregard the importance of gear. Very good point, because you will do that at some point, and it will get you killed. Yeah, now I get the puffy jacket. See that bloke over there? Name's Osbert, and he's hurt bad. Now, it ain't exactly my job to mind his business. I'm a torch, he's a blade. But at the end of the day, we're both people. You know what I'm saying? Any road. I went over to him just earlier and asked what's wrong, but he refuses to tell me, the stubborn bugger. Seems his pride's more important to him than his life. What is it with men and acting tough? I tell myself I've tried, but if the fella ends up kicking the bucket, I don't want that on my conscience. I know this is sudden, but could you talk to him into drinking a high potion? I'd sleep a deal better for it. I ain't got one on me either. But one of them fellas over there yonder sells some. And for it. Let's get to it then, shall we? All wagons pass through the station every day, but not without incident. Wagons coming and going from the dispatch yard to the south must pass through a tunnel by Fesca's watch. A tunnel in which some genius saw fit to put an ore storehouse, creating ideal conditions for a goblin nest. Wait till you see those. So now the all-loving beasts have taken up residence in a tunnel we dug, and we're practically delivering meals to their doorstep. But no more. Inside the tunnel in question, you will find a narrow fissure where the goblins hide. Use the silver ore cluster to lure out the creatures, then slay them. Yes, sir. So this is just a porter. It can take you back to the city. It's back between them. We don't need it now, however. I do, however, have to get a high potion. Well, I don't really need this, but if you insist, you have my thanks, adventurer. I was resigned to suffering in silence, for I, Osbert the Undying, veteran of countless battles, could not afford to show weakness to my colleagues and allies. Looked to me for inspiration, you see. To think I was almost brought low by a gentle blow to the head. Ha ha ha! I was only incapacitated for a few moments, I think. To repay you for your discretion in this delicate matter, I shall share with you my warrior's wisdom. If you must practice your juggling, use heavy stones at your own peril. Well, smooth. Okay. Let's choose the Aetheryte. The skill I just picked up is a stunning thing, which will be very handy. But I am now going to teleport back to Ul'dah, pick up the next quest for the Gladiator, because I'm pretty sure I get my hunting log then, and that is a way to level up by killing certain creatures. Oh, well, I may as well just run. Sorry, not talked as much in ages. Back already, are you? Oh, it took me a while. Come, let us see what you've brought. Exceptional! These are fine shrew pelts indeed. Well done, my friend. The pugilist guild is among my largest clients. I fear what would have come to pass had this order been delayed any longer. Take this, you've more than earned it. Why, thank you. Why, thank you, kind sir. Vulcan. Back in one piece, are you? It's about bloody time. I admit you look as though you picked up a sword just yesterday, but you handled yourself well enough and I'll give you that. And here, I'll give you this as well. Ain't worth a knight at Ultar's finest pillow house, but I'm sure you'll find a worth use for it. Oh boy, I am feeling this today. Welcome back, Lilith. I take it you've dispatched the beast, and with ease. Rest assured there will be far greater challenges to come. If you wish to master the sword, you must test yourself against a wide variety of foes. To this end, I present to you this hunting log. It contains information on creatures ideal for a gladiator in training. You will doubtless gain valuable experience should you seek out and slay them. It is only with such practice that you will recognize and eliminate the deficiencies in your techniques. Your training under me shall continue once the haft sits so snugly in your hand that you cannot imagine handling aught else. Until then, Lilith. She has given us food, which we're going to eat, for a bonus of experience. That's another thing, by the way. Always have food up. You can have cheap food, doesn't really matter. But as long as you have one of these buffs up, you get XP plus 3%. So, very handy. From all sources. Ah, Lilith. I take it you and your sword have become better acquainted. Yeah, from the last 5 seconds. Then I will now instruct you on another fundamental aspect of what it means to be a gladiator. Commanding an opponent's attention. As gladiators, we are trained to engage our enemies at close range, weathering their attacks as we deliver our own. However, there are times we must do battle alongside allies whose talents are not the same as our own. In such situations, your role is not to slay the enemy in front of you, but rather defend the man beside you. We do this by eliciting the enmity of our opponents through attacks and techniques designed to incite their hatred. You must learn to draw the enemy's attention to yourself, and to trust in your stout constitution to endure. In doing so, you protect your weaker comrades who would otherwise perish. To help you better understand this, there is a task I would have you perform. It just so happens that Modi of Quicksand has requested our assistance. A gang of Lemisians marauders have paraded into town and have begun harassing people outside her establishment. Men like these prey on the weak, but will turn tail and flee at first sight of defiance. You need not resort to violence. It will suffice to show them that you are not afraid of them and will not tolerate their behavior. Seek out the Lemisians and make your presence known by bellowing, "Face me, marauder!" In this way, you will protect the people of Uldar as you would your allies in battle. Sounds like fun. Let's do it. blaming me because this little shite shat his own pants? Well, bugger him and bugger you too. Fuck off, man. I love the dainty way she does it. You know your friend here is a 12 damn cheat. Thinks he can charge us more because we're foreigners, but he'll get his own back. Mark my words. Yeah, that's a lot from someone who's running scared at the sight of a tiny aura. Keen-eyed marauder. Oi, come now. He was disrespecting me proud sea wolf heritage. Fine, I'll leave the bastard be, but we ain't finished. Bring it. Bring it, tall, dark, and ugly. Hello. The hell's your problems? Oh, maybe she likes her men rough. What's she supposed to be, a bleeding lady in waiting? Bah, it don't matter. You've gone and spoiled the mood. That one felt good, I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad she's safe. Ooh, a cutscene. Just who the hell do you think you're speaking to, maggot? I'm Famal the Driven, and me and my bloody marauders have been raving so long, mothers scare their children with tales about us. Don't believe me words? Then I'll let me axe do the talking. Oh boy. Do you really want to fight in Momodi's nice and chat thing? Oh ho, this is Lion leaving for the quicksand. You two gonna put on a show for us? What's this? Another goddamn fool. So show some respect when you talk to Famal the Driven, leader of a troop of bloody mummers or some such. I heard you the first time. Your voice carries quite well. Then unless you want me to split your skull with me axe, you better... Oh, he recognizes him. Or he recognizes that sword. That sword! It could be frenzy, but only the sword of Naldwood. Bloody hells, it's you! You know, I've never been one to stand back and watch. Mind if I join the fun? Begging your pardon, sir. Ooh. Nice. Why do they always do that? Looks like it's just you and me. Standing up to that Laminsian was quite brave of you, and quite foolish. I think I like you, Gladiator. Name's Aldous, and I'd buy you a drink, but I'm afraid I spent the last of my coin. I used to be a young gladiator like you back then. But that hardly concerns you. These days I'm just an explorer of the unexplored, a seeker of as yet unknown experiences. Like that beautiful stranger keeping my bed warm right now. Gods, I miss the city, this wonderful desert jewel of debauchery and sin. Now if you'll excuse me. Well, that was quick. I swear, if I hadn't seen Aldous with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it was him. Everyone here thought he died years ago. Listen, Lilith, do me a favour and don't tell Milo about meeting Aldous, alright? She doesn't need this kind of drama. Why? Well, let's just say some folk aren't good for each other. Drama. I love drama. Well, I love drama in a story sense. I don't love drama in reality. Drama in reality sucks. Because people get hurt. And that's the worst of it, I guess. Drama in a story gets resolved, but drama in reality is never clean. I've already heard of your exploits at the Quicksand, Lilith. Did well to send those marauders packing. I wish I could say we've had the last of them. Alas, we received reports of wax-wielding raiders assaulting merchants traveling through Scorpion's Crossing. It seems words would not suffice after all. I want you to finish what you've begun, Lilith. Head to the western Thanalan and see that Mal the Driven and all those who have shared in his crimes never trouble the people of Uldar again. Ooh, state-sanctioned murder. Cool. Yeah, it's this one. See how now these have all these little markers over them? Means they're part of my hunting log. And it means would you like to target that one? Thank you. Means I have to kill a certain number of them, which comes up in my chat. That's the marmot stuff. And that's the ladybug stone. This is a really good way to get experience, by the way, especially with lower level classes. Once you have it unlocked, because it unlocks for all of them. Well, all the Realm Reborn ones, anyway. And that's number 3. Oh look, a nervous merchant. I wonder what he's nervous about. They tore me from my saddle and took everything I owned. Bring my goods back to me, I beg of you. It's a good thing I'm not an asshole who would say, what's in it for me? But I'm a hero, you see, and heroes don't ask that question. Heroes just do. He seems familiar. So I have a confession to make. This game has these things called retainers. I have a couple more than normal, and I can't wait for them because they're a bunch of extra inventory space and they let you sell things, but I won't have access to them until much later in the story. 12 bless you, adventurer. If it weren't for good women like you, I'd never leave home. You're welcome. Okay, so I know I have a quest in this direction. However, I know that the gladiator quest is going to take me there at some point. Soon? I'm pretty sure it's the next one. So I'm going to go there first, pick that up, and then come out. Because the Silver Bazaar has a bunch of quests as well. Golly, I've been live for this long already, Jesus. glad you all stuck with me. Thank you. Just gonna quickly repair. And it's this way. Good, it is finished. And with that, your stage of training is complete. This time, your enemies were ill-behaved ruffians, but who knows what manner of opponents you will face in the future. Regardless, I have faith that you will do well. Master your sword, and you shall master yourself. Now then, there will be work for you in the days to come. Return to your training, Lilith. We will speak again. Interesting. All of them are weaker than what I have, so I'm taking the money. For First Sword Myla requires your immediate assistance with a dangerous matter. You look well, Lilith. I hope you are ready for your next task, because I require your immediate assistance. There have been several violent murders recently, the victims of which were all Hyorin men. That is the default male guys, said the humans. Based on the multiple spear wounds found upon the bodies of the deceased, we believe that Lancers are responsible for the crime. Not only are these murders a blight upon our city, I fear it is only a matter of time before one of our own is targeted. I have just received reports of foreign Lancers skulking about in Stone's Throw. Considering the circumstances, I find it likely these are our culprits. We cannot abide any more murders. Go to Stone's Throw outside the Gate of Nald and speak with any you find in the area. With luck, we may find these Lancers before they strike again. Sounds like fun. Oh, bronze bastard sword is better. There's also an urge to keep your inventory clear, like your armory chest clear, and do listen to that. But always keep some low-level gear on you, because when you switch to a new character, you need to have it, otherwise you will walk around in your undies until you get new gear. I mean, if that's your thing, be my guest, but if you weren't expecting it, it can be a little bit funny to go into battle completely starkers and be like, yeah, no, we got this. Where are you? Oh, I've gone the wrong way. Whoopsie daisy. Apologies if I fidget over much. I have severe chronic pain, so as this kind of time wears on, I tend to get more and more sore, which is why I will be limiting my streams to 4 hours, since I've proven that I can do that with D&D, and yeah, it's been a hell of a journey with it, but I'm not going to ramble on about that. I'm pretty sure no one's interested in hearing about it, but it certainly gives me a unique perspective on things. Also, look at this environment stuff. I'm sorry, I'm geeking out over stupid shit, but I'm always impressed with the attention to detail that this game does. Just constantly. Later on there's a class called Dark Knight, which we've talked about before at the start of the stream, and the journal entries for that are so good. They're so different to the rest of the game's journal entries. Most of it's just a summary, but those ones are so good. Don't kill me, please. I'm not the one you want. Ooh. Duskwights. So, the people of Gridania are known as Elizon. Basically your elves. Duskwights are basically your drow in this game. So it's interesting that they're Duskwight freelancers. Oops, I forgot to read it. Gotta go back to Mila. Okay, so we got about an hour and 10 left. So, hopefully you all are having fun. And I'll stop asking that at some point, but you see, I have intense anxiety, so I'm just babbling, and I have been babbling since I started. Which, I guess that's kind of what streaming is, it's just speaking from your brain without interference of things like logic or proper sentence formation. The plot thickens. So they were indeed the murderers we sought. But what brought Duskwhite freelancers all the way here from the Black Shroud, Redania? And why were they murdering Huron nuns with swords? First sword! What is it? Lance's first sword, a gang of them hiding in the tunnel south of Blackbrush Station. It seems we are not yet rid of them. Lilith, you might as well finish what you started. Go to Central Tantalan and dispatch the last of these freelancers. Bruce, accompany Lilith. See that she doesn't die. Well, I can't keep the last from getting skewered, but I'll patch her up as best I can. Lilith, defend Bruce. He knows powerful healing magics, but he cannot employ them unless you keep your enemies occupied. Make sure you command their full attention at all times. This is where we'll be using our enmity, by the way. I am counting on you to keep those bastards away from me. Watch me back, and I'll watch yours. You got it. You have your orders, gladiators. Send these freelancers to the 7th gate. I'm going to assume that means hell. So the quest in this, at least in Realm Reborn, go in increments of 5. So level 10, level 5, level 10, and so on and so forth. Later on it'll be different because it takes so much more to get to the different... Where am I going? Again? Really? Really, brain? Because it takes so more, you get like quest at 63 or 72, that kind of thing. But thankfully this is just nice and neat at 5s. I'm considering if I should try and complete as much as I can before going forward in the story. And I think I'll do it as I go. I'll just try and complete as much as I can and save maybe completing certain areas until, certain streams, I guess. That's the cool thing about streaming, I can do whatever I want and no one can tell me not to. Level 13. Okay. So this is for the main story quest. And this is a goblin. Creepy looking thing, isn't it? There we go. Energy. So what I did there was pop my tank stance, so this is on. and then did an AoE to grab all of their attention. Since I do more empty than he does, I will immediately grab it off of him, and you can see that on the little thing there. See how they all come up as red? That means they're on me and not him. It will transform to a yellow triangle if I'm losing empathy, and then it will be a blue circle if I don't have any empathy with that particular target. So it's a good way for me to know if I've got them or not. Making you sweat. I'm doing all the work here. There we go. Nice and simple. Looks like we're done here. Let's head home, Lilith. I can use a drink. That's fair. And we'll turn that off while I'm not doing anything. Oh! Well, I must have triggered her somehow. Not entirely sure how, but I did. That is what happens if you attack an enemy stronger than you. Well, a level 50 enemy when you are level, 13. I'm not going to be able to pick up the next quest from her just yet, because I need to be level 15 and I'm not close enough for that yet. Congratulations on the job well done, Lilith. Bruce says you have acquitted yourself quite well. You have shown tremendous grace since you joined us, and though it pains me to do this, you've earned the right. Lilith, I grant you leave to join other guilds. As you doubtless know, Uldar is home to both the Pugilists and the Thaumaturges Guild. However, there are also guilds where you may learn something of more peaceful traditions. You may even join the guilds of other nations if that is your desire. Know that I will respect your decisions, whatever they may be, so long as you do not forget that you are above all a gladiator. Okay. Oh. So, they were tracking a man named Aldous. I'm going to choose to say, not bring him up. Just for this, because I don't want to hurt her. Whether that's the right choice, I don't know. But their motives died with them. I see. Mayhap it is best we put this sordid affair behind us. Still, I cannot help but wonder. Which one gives me the most? The hands give me the most. And now I have a shield and a gear set. So, I'm going to add. There we go. So the armory system is how you switch between classes, and it's based on your main weapon. So while I've got this weapon, I am a gladiator. If I want to change to another one, I just have to switch weapons, and it will change for me. While we're here, I'm going to quickly pop in, pick up the rest of this mail, because I keep getting a notification every time for it. And then we can... what should we do? Should we join other guilds? Because we're going to have to. And it'd be good to get them out of the way early. Or do we level up Gladiator so we get more of a boost for it? I'm going to take this off of thing because I can't do it until the patch. Look what we have here! 2 new letters arrived just for you, Kubo. the red hair, which is a mount, another mount. And Sleipnir, which is a very important mount, but you won't see it until later. Again, I can't actually ride them until I get the ability to use mounts, so that will be some time, unfortunately. Because that is story locked. Okay. Now is actually a really good time. I'm just going to quickly grab a drink and I will be right back. Thank you guys. I will be just a few moments. Promise. we go. Hello, I'm back. Thank you, it's Bailey, for this follow. As you can see, I am here. I was just taking a quick break because it's my first time streaming and I have been live for 3 hours and it is freaking me out. So slight anxiety there. That's said. My hair is a mess, but thankfully it's quite short, so it's not going to be that much of a problem. Okay. Well, let's go to Central and back to Backbrush. My mic seems to be a little bit buzzy. I'm just going to try and fix that if I can. Hopefully that's a little bit better, but I'm not entirely sure what is causing this problem, if I'm entirely honest. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Okay. Well, let me know if that's fixed it in any way, because I will keep trying, obviously. Okay. Yeah, alright. Hi, Bailey. Properties. Let's do some advanced audio properties. Why is it doing that? Is that helping at all? Because I can't seem to figure out why. Well, it's nice to know I've been live for 3 hours and it's just been brought to my attention. Oh, it's worse than before? Thank you. Is that any better? I can move my mic, maybe. Oh, I think I know what it is. It might be my fan in the background, which I can't turn off because I will be sick. How's that? Did that work? Oh, okay, it's the fan. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna quickly turn that off. How's that? Is that any better? I hope it is. Let's see. Fair bit better? Lovely. Okay, well, then I will get on with it. As you can see, Bailey, I am playing a gladiator. Because, you know, I'm gonna be a tank. Okay. I think because I've still got my fan on a much lower setting, so just because at the moment the medication I'm on is making me quite ill, but once that kind of settles a bit, I will figure out how to not let it affect my mic. But thank you for the heads up. I did not realise that it was that buzzy. Okay, Warren. Well done. It shan't be easy work to keep the tunnel free of goblins, but our workers should be able to go unmolested for a time. Disruptions to ore shipments threaten not only the interests of Mulder and Sons mineral concern, but of Uldar herself. One might liken these train tracks to veins that bear our nation's lifeblood. I reckon figuring out a background noise removal, putting on a limiter would be excellent. Yeah, I don't know how to do that midstream, so I'm gonna have to look that up, but I will definitely make a note and do that. Thank you for the advice. If only we had more women like you to lend a hand. Ooh, weaker than what I've got, so bronze piece it is. And we leveled up. Suzumida. Suzumida wishes to share with you a most amazing rumor. How are you doing today anyway, Bailey? Ah, the altruistic adventurer. I was hoping we'd bump into each other. Why? Because I'm the most fascinating piece of news recently reached my ears, and I'm eager to share it. May I? Rumour has it that there is a vast untapped vein of ore beneath the ruins of Silda. But that is not all. Inconceivably, the concern appears to be entirely ignorant of its existence. And even as we speak, a young upstart, a self-made merchant from Stone's Throw of all places, is moving to claim it. The fellow's name is Wystan, and he is a very, very ambitious young man. Not only does he plan to intend to secure exclusive excavation rights, but they say his master plan is to use his new fortune to curry favour with the Sacrium. Of course, the thaumaturges only consider the opinions of the most wealthy when drafting the laws of Uldar. If you would have your voice heard, you must be prepared to pay a sultan's ransom. Nah, that's later stuff, no worries. Enjoy later. Thank you, I will try. As you know, I am a healer maid, so being the tank is weird. You're doing excellent. Lovely. I'm so glad to hear that. Got any big plans for the rest of the night, or are you just gonna chill? One voice, which is invariably heard, belongs to Lord Laurito. He has long lavished guilt upon the thaumaturges, and some claim that he devises new laws with the express intention of ruining his competitors while protecting his own interests. Suffice it to say, if Wystan thinks he can compete with the likes of the Syndicate, he's in for a rude awakening. But that eventuality may yet be a little ways off. For the present, he is moving ahead with his plans and assembling a team to survey the site. I'm told he's at the Coffer and Coffin right now, recruiting able-bodied adventurers to escort his prospectors. Warren said you were looking for work. Mayhap you should meet Wystan and volunteer for his expedition. Tank is easy. Run in, smack, forget tank stance. Mood. Chill, I've got Gold Nova tomorrow. Oh, you're going to Supernova! That is... I miss Supernova so much. You will have to... you will have to let me live vicariously through you. Oh yeah, your feet are... Of course your feet are gonna die. Have you, got anyone you're looking forward to meeting? Zizidada. Zizida. Zizida needs someone to procure hammer-beak ribs. This is so morbid. Looking out to help around the station, are you? Well then how about hunting some hammerbeaks? We just received an order from Eshtaime's lapidaries for silver ingots. They needed to make ceremonial silverware, or so I'm told. However, we've been instructed to refine the ore by melting it in a furnace lined with a layer of bone ash. Since we don't normally smelt silver this way, I've long neglected to restock our stores of hammerbeak ribs. Alas, there's no time to order more. If you would slay several of the fiends and take their bones to Beriage in my stead, I would be forever grateful. Not particularly. Caitlin from Arcane is going to be there, but I'm going with my uni's anime club, probably a solid 50 of us going. A weeb invasion. I did it. Complete fair. Go and cosplay. mean, fair. I've only done cosplay a couple of times, and it is a lot of effort to go to. I mean, the first time I went, I did cosplay. I went as Susan from the Discworld series. So, full on, like, split down the hair, black and white, did it with a fucking awful sort of, like, spray paint dye for a wig, and it kept coming off every time I touched it. And I wore these fuck off heels that are, like, this big. And I got crash tackled by, like, a 9-year-old. Next, maybe looking to cosplay either Gojo from Solstice or Spike from Cowboy Bebop. Oh, God, heels the con. Yeah, it was not my best choice, but to be fair, they were platforms. They weren't proper like heels, so they were a little bit more supportive. Except when I got crash tackled, of course. I did make the yeah. I regretted it. I did make the stupid decision a few years later when I flew to Melbourne for a con to only take one pair of shoes, which were heels. Because I was like, oh, it'll be fine. They're really comfortable. They've never given me any trouble. You know, it'll be fine. I bled into my shoes after the third day. Like, at that point, I had just started to bleed. It was so bad. But, worth it. The con itself was hilarious. Great decision. Yeah, I never said I was a pioneer of good decisions. But it worked really well with the cosplay I was doing, which started as a Madame Red cosplay from Black Butler, and ended as a Carmen Sandiego cosplay because the hat I got was giant. I'm talking like properly big hat. Oh shit, and I want to cosplay Alda from Pokemon Black and White. Oh, I think you rocked that. All good cosplays morph like that, I guess. Yeah, mine happened because of the hat and because I took a photo in the TARDIS, because I had a prop TARDIS set up there. And someone went, so that's where she is. And then I got stuck there for like an hour. Big orange hair, poncho, he's fly as well. Yeah, I remember. Don't quite understand it myself, but fellas said to do it the old way, even though we could be using shards to refine silver faster and cheaper. Well, it ain't my guild, so if that's how they want it, just goes to show that the Thaumaturgus Guild has more money than it knows what to do with. God's what I wouldn't do to have that kind of problem. Good God. 100%. Yeah, let's go stupid hat. I had them turned off at the moment, though. Because if I have to look at it, I'm not going to inflict that shit on anybody. In the court of the Rat King, she's desperately seeking someone to recover stolen coffers of gemstones. You there, help me! A mischief of Khan has stolen our cargo. The thieving rats love anything that sparkles, and they've made off with several coffers of precious gemstones. The Overseer will flay me alive if he finds out. I beg you, help me get the gemstones back. The Khan fled to their lair in the southwest. Follow the tracks and you're bound to find them. Sounds like a plan. I'm going to drag that there so I remember to use it. I do miss having a mount, not gonna lie. Because you realise how big this world is when you have to run around it. I definitely took doing the... yeah, pain, yeah. 100%. I definitely took flying for granted. So, at the end of Realm Reborn, they added in... So they added flying into... they added flying into Heavensward, and then retroactively added it to... Oh, I guess we're doing a fate. Retroactively added it to Realm Reborn, and thankfully without all of the stuff you have to do in Heavensward to fly. So once you hit it... Nice. Really? Once you, you know, hit the end of the campaign, the Realm Reborn storyline. Hello, Skull. Welcome on in. Once you hit the end of the campaign, you can automatically fly in all of the Realm Reborn areas, and that is such a relief. Depends, Bailey. Who do you think it is? Oh yeah, the Aether Currents are so... I like them, and they've greatly improved... Oh, I'm fighting the wrong thing. Couldn't be me. Yeah, they've actually reworked that system quite a lot, because in the original one you had to get like 10 Aether Currents. I'm not going to be able to do that on my own. But I'm going to have to go in anyway. What am I thinking? Maybe. Could be. Was entirely just the name that I had in my brain. Hopefully she will not be the same kind of character. How you doing, Skull, anyway? Good, tired, but functioning. Really? Stu is a simp for Shah through and through. Although understandable, I'd simp for Shah. Honestly, the gods you built into your world are so fucking cool. Like, I don't know if they're... Because I don't know enough about D&D to know if they're actual proper gods. I'm still like, goddamn. Not my god, Forgotten Realms god. Okay. Still, I would 100% simp. Even though I'm pretty sure she's a bad guy. It's weird to think I've been doing this for 3.5 hours? She is. But elf lady with 2 swords, simp material. Yes. Forgotten Realms gods are like the McDonald's lemonade. Bad for your health, but the weirdest kind of spicy. I've never heard lemonade referred to as spicy, and yet I know exactly what you mean. Just break your ankles. Where's Dan? Hi, buddy. Come to join? Sorry, you're too late. Some brass blades looking for extra coin volunteered, and the team's already en route to the ruins. But look, I know it's not easy to find work these days. If you're interested, there's something else you can do for me. There are children outside, little ones from stone's throw. I look after them when I have time to spare, so they've taken to following me around even when I tell them not to. But what with overseeing the search for the vein, I barely have a chance to visit the privy at the moment, much less entertain younglings. Can you give them these ginger cookies and convince them to go home for me? Sure. Why is it always children? Hi, starveling child. I ain't going anywhere. I ain't going nowhere, missus. I'm too hungry to move, besides, and you'll have to carry me. How about, would you do it for a Scooby snack? A cookie? Well, if Wyson really wants me to go home, then alright, but I want 2 next time. Smart kid. Starveling child. Just as tall as any other. But Wyston always plays with us. Why won't he come out and play? Will a Scooby snack help you forget your problems? Wow, a ginger cookie? I better save some for my brother. I know, I'll go home and eat it with him. I resent that. I'm also child size. Do you mean in person or in game? Weiston's kind to us. I like him. Cookie time. This is for me. I want to eat it, but then again I don't, because then it'd be gone. Yes. Tell Weiston thanks, and tell him I'm sorry for getting in the way. Oh, little baby. Little babbies. I like playing with Weiston. He makes sure nobody bullies us. Weiston's worried about us? Oh, I don't want to make him worried. I'm a good girl, so I'll go home. Talk about guilt trips. Weiston! Buddy! Pal! Friend! Thank you, adventurer. I only wish I could do more. Stone's Throw is no place for a child. Not that my childhood was much happier. Never enough food to go round, nor work to earn it, but no shortage of contempt from the great and the good. I remember thinking things could only get better, yet now, after the calamity and everything else, for us refugees to be forced to live outside the gates like bloody beastmen is a disgrace. Weiston looks like Otakon. They say with enough money you can change the laws here, so I'm going to make a fortune and do just that. I'll buy the excavation rights and start my own mining business. Then I'll give my fellow refugees the work they're crying out for and pay them fairly. Metal Gear Aetherite. The mining companies have profited from our suffering for too long, but in their hubris they've grown complacent, presenting us with golden opportunity. And we will take it, adventurer. We will claim our dignity and with it our place within the walls. Kept you waiting, huh? We found her. Though we found the vein. Weiston, you must come and see. Already? Amazing! We leave at once. Colonel, we need to stop the rivals. Oh god. You should join me, my friend. Come and bear witness to history in the making. You're about to get your ass kicked, is what's going to happen. Oh, I don't need to do that. What am I doing? What's up? Please tell me you retrieved the gemstones. Tank stones. I don't need tank stones. I'm not fighting anything. If I was doing content with anybody, I would remember. I promise. Bless you thrice over, adventurer. Thanks to you, my height will remain intact. It's hard to believe even that the Kikan used to be honest merchants. Some of them even lived in Uldar. But then the beastmen were banished from the city and the Kikan lost their livelihood. Sometimes to thieving and others to petty crimes to survive. It's a sad tale, but sadder still that most of the citizens couldn't care less. Tank stats. False. Always be tanking. Alright. Alright, I apologize, but I must depart. Enjoy, Gladiator. Objectively the coolest and best and most sexy and most swag job. Take care. Have fun, Bailey. Thank you for dropping in. Oh, the love in my chat brings a tear to my eye and apparently a curve to my face. Tanks together strong. Just for you. There you go. I'm glad I could impress. Boing. I love the bonk sound that it makes when I hit things with this. Because I am basically just hitting them with wood with a bit of with bits of obsidian in the edges of it, which is cool, but it's also like I'm hitting them with wood. Just a good bonk to the head. Good old bonk to the noggin. Looks like Weston's is in trouble. Who could have seen that coming? Hi there, bludgeons you. Let's go. $1d4 damage to death. Those balls, son. A vein of ore in the middle of a ruined bloody city. God's damned idiot. What did you think was going to happen? That you'd strike it rich and get cozy with the Order while the Masters of Uldar looked on? No one crosses the Syndicate. The Syndicate? Huh. Finally sunk in, has it? Well, look at this. Not all your friends have deserted you, it seems. Lucky boy. Now you won't have to die alone. I could take him. O mournful voice of creation, grant ye this humble stone a soul, that it may wake to life. Who's spouting that gibberish? Show yourself. The Syndicate? More like the Loser Club. Am I right, gamers? Got it, my guy. This ain't part of the plan. Bloody hells! Does Lord Lolorito mean to kill us too? Run, bitches. Yeah, let the hero take care of it. The Syndicate? More like the Syndicate your bad deeds. Ha! Got him. Gotta respect it. I love its little eyes and a little cat head. Although I do feel bad about the spike poking out of its back. That the golem could be vanquished. That woman is no ordinary adventurer. It's weird not seeing a bunny, not gonna lie. My other character is a Vero, and so she just has bunny ears. It's great fun. And stripper heels, but I feel like that would be less appropriate for a stream. Thancred, fashionably late. Damn, seems I've missed all the fun. I see you didn't need my help this time. Didn't need it the first time. Ooh, vision time. It's weird seeing a character over 3 foot. No, that's fair. I would compose a ballad in your honour, but I fear no words would do you justice. The songstress of Uldar herself could not rival your beauty. Oh, stop it. I've oft heard it said that a blossom's beauty can move a man to love and long, but I never truly believed it until I met you two desert roses. You're so full of it. I love it, though. I hear they attacked another caravan. Aye, and business is suffering for it. Bloody Amalja, what stirred him up, do you reckon? Another raid, and I'll wager the caravan was carrying crystals much like the last. If they truly mean to summon a primal, we must act quickly. Are you coming, love? You wouldn't keep a girl waiting, would you? Perish the thought. I always wonder if the descriptions here are like, in these kind of versions, what your character thinks of them. So tell me, where in this marvel of a city might you lovely ladies be staying? Damn, Thancred gets it, yeah. At this rate, grain will soon be more precious than gold. A result of the uncommonly bad harvests, to be sure. And we have you to thank for them, do we not? Aye, this weakening of the etheric flow must surely be linked to Dalaman's descent. And of course, the primals. A fine mess, but we must not lose hope. Louisoix will know what to do. We need only trust in his judgment. What about a grain made of gold? 1,000 IQ play. Gotta love the stupid glasses. I do wonder what they see. Truly a marvel of Chilean ingenuity. It's as if I could reach out and touch the aether. I really want that curved sword. I didn't realise the first time, but he was praying. Time to focus. No more gallivanting about like before. The Scions are counting on you. Have faith. Just have faith. You can do this. Oh, sweetie. This disturbance is recent. The Sultan tree? Maybe Papa Shan will know something of it. Looks like they gave you quite a thrashing. Can you walk? It's me. I was too late. Our person of interest had already quit the scene. The General? Very well. I shall be there anon. Gotta love the way of speaking. I'm really glad they kind of ease up on it. My colleagues went to great lengths to provide me with the means to detect etheric disturbances. But every time I find one, you seem to be in the middle of it. I'm starting to wonder if it might not be simpler just to follow you around. Sadly, I have business elsewhere. Thancred, you could follow me around all you like. That voice actor. Tread softly, my friend. The carefully laid trap you dismantled was clearly sanctioned by Lord Lolorito. I heard the blades mention him as they fled. Believe me when I tell you that he is not a man to be trifled with. The Sultana's enemies grow bolder by the day, and I suspect they may have the support of outside forces. Thank you. If you hadn't come along, those bastards surely would have slaughtered all of us. I would speak with you further, but it isn't safe for us to linger here. But he can be occupied with? That one I don't get. Find me at the Coffer and Coffin later. Until then, stay safe. I shall accompany Weiston and his men. They need protection, and I need more information. Not to be trifled with. Okay, now I know that. I've never had a off you play. Ah, but where are my manners? I've yet to properly introduce myself. I am Thancred, a humble scholar surveying the flow of aether in Thanalan. Sure you are. It is an honour and a privilege to make your acquaintance. I hope when next we meet it is under more auspicious circumstances. Farewell. What? They're good! I'm sure, I have no idea what it is, but sure. Caramel and banana and biscuit and chocolate. That does sound nice, although I'm not a big fan of bananas. I can stand banana bread, but that's about my limit. Your arteries never stood a chance. Ah, wait a moment. It occurs to me that we may have. Never mind, fare thee well. Fair enough then. So normally I play Avera, like as I was saying before. I just really like the aesthetic of the Vera. I mean, yeah, haha, funny bunny girl, but I like the aesthetic, and I like the sort of the outfits that they can wear. Not necessarily just like the sexy ones, but because they're quite tall and lanky, the outfits sit quite nicely on them, even like full armor. Whereas on shorter characters, it tends to clump up a bit more, and by no means look bad, it just looks really cool. It also helps that I am somewhat tall. I'm like 5'9", and the idea of someone being taller than me is great. I mean, my brother and my father are both taller than me, but a female that is taller than me. I'm gonna stop that now. 12 bless you, my friend. You risked your life to save ours. Betrayed by my own gods. Gods, I was a fool to trust those men. Yeah, you were. Lolorito owns the goddamn brass blades. I should have questioned their motives from the start. Even so, I could have hardly predicted that the wealthiest man in Uldar would want me dead for the heinous crime of seeking to change the law. I'm just a merchant, for God's sakes. That ruthless bastard. And what of that monstrosity? Those were his own men. It beggars belief. Rock eyebrow behind. Oh gosh. I can see it very clearly. As soon as I read that, my brain just played it for me. Well, that's it. I'm finished. If I stay in Uldar any longer, I'm as good as dead. My associates, my friends, gods, even the children may not be safe if I don't disappear. And you, gods damn it, if Lolorito learns of your involvement, you'll be next. He can certainly try. I'll speak with the others and make sure your part in this stays secret. Beyond that, I don't know what to suggest. Maybe you should seek the counsel of Mistress Momodi. She's helped countless adventurers in her time. Mayhap she'll know what to do. Go quickly now, my friend. Lolorito's spies may be watching. Lolorito can kiss my ass. Look, I'm not saying that the sexy outfits are taboo. I love them. They look so good. But I am saying there are other outfits that I like too. Plus, the heels they get to wear are like the best in the game. What am I doing? I don't need to go to a teleport thing to do it. Just go there. Down bad? I don't know why I'm running everywhere, but I guess that's just what my brain is going to do. Oh, there we go. There we are. Now I'm officially a tank. I'm glad to have impressed you. Myla. First Lord Myla wishes to assign you another task, that old familiar feeling. Hail, Lilith. you come at a good time. I have another task I wish to assign to you. The Immortal Flames and the Brass Blades have both requested the Guild's assistance in maintaining security at Camp Drybone, a vital outpost along the Royal Elegant Sunway. The Amalja have been raiding caravans with reckless abandon, creating a significant disruption in trade. Uldar has a long, troubled history with the Amalja, so raids are not unheard of. However, this recent escalation must be addressed. Go to Camp Drybone and search for these raiders, Lilith. I've already dispatched other gladiators to patrol the region, so I suggest you speak with them for more information. Okay, since I seem to be getting this wrong, I'm going to go do the Silver Bazaar. I'll probably have to go there pretty soon, but I'm running out of time and I would like to get it done, as it were. This has been pretty fun. I've been so nervous the whole time, like still shaking, but I've had a lot of fun, and I'd like to thank everyone that kind of joined in as we were going. Way more people than I thought was going to. I mean, I'm not ending right now, I've got 12 minutes, but yeah, it's really nice. Thank you. Let's bring the hunting log over to here. I need a snapping shrew, earth sprites, edgeling soldiers, and dusty mongrels. Interesting. My question is thus: how does tanking feel? To be fair, I haven't actually really done it yet. It's just been mostly DPS at this point. I haven't had to tank anything. Like, personal thoughts, opinions. From what I've played on another one, it's still quite anxiety-inducing. Just the positioning seems to fuck me up. But again, I haven't had much chance to actually do that here. It's been very, just DPS, early game stuff. I think once I get into a dungeon or two, or guild tests, once I unlock those, I'll have a better opinion. But I don't suppose it matters whether or not I enjoy it, because I'm going to be doing it. I'm going to level everything. Everything to max. So all classes, get all achievements, or all that I can reasonably get. Some I might not be able to get because of events that I missed, which is unfortunate, but just the way it goes. But everything I can complete, I will. So when it gets to that time, I will probably invite people to do mount farming with me. I mean, I know you've already got most of the mounts that I do, more than I do, but I meant on this channel. I do not mean to hire. Well, what is it then? Come to try and scare me and these poor folk off our land again? Go on, do your worst. I'll not budge one step from this spot. I shall share tanking tips I have recently learned at some stage to assist the grind. That would be great, actually, thank you. Hammerbeak tail feathers in a letter. Dear gods, it's from Oswell. Have you seen him? Is he well? Dearest Kikipoo, it's been too long since I wrote you last. Have you fared since? As ever, I am a slave to my trade, and sadly it hasn't seemed fit to take me to or through the Silver Bazaar in some years. I've heard it told the scum of Uldar have set their sights on your Silver Bazaar. It seems beyond saving. Really, how long do you mean to linger in that horrid hovel? Remember, some birds aren't meant to be caged. Spread your wings and soar once more, Kikipoo. Spread my wings and soar? By the gods, this is... That's Silver Bazaar, yeah. This is by far the most ridiculous letter I've ever read. And Hammerbeak tail feathers. The dolt does realise he sent the feathers of a flightless bird, doesn't he? Well, Oswald can go bugger himself. I've no intentions of stepping one elm from this hovel, much less soaring from it. It's my hovel, and I love it. There. and we're going to help you keep it. Kiki-Poo of the Silver Bazaar is having a hard time handling a couple of troublesome labourers. Queen, yes. You've a warm face for an outsider, not like those other curs loitering about the bazaar. Surely you've seen the hammers to the east of here. Or at the very least heard of them. Well, a few of their workers have decided to drop in on us for a little rest and relaxation. But they're no workers. They're nothing but hired muscles sent to threaten the people of the bazaar and harass our shops. It's not the first time. But I dare say a formidable lass such as yourself might be able to scare them off with some strongly worded doubts. What say you? I say, I get to intimidate people. Fafano has the look of a Lalafell dying to be asked if he has any work to offer. Hey there, friend. I've a sure way into some easy gill if you're interested. It won't even require you to break a sweat, at least not much of one. All you need to do is slay enough rusty goblins to gather 4 bottles of goblin grease, and deliver them to a hero by the name of Adelard at the hammers. Once he has the grease, he can use it to keep the hammers running. Couldn't be more simple. I'm surrounded by fools here. They detest the hammers and the new way of life they symbolize. They care only for the successes of the past, but it blinds them to the opportunities of the present. The change isn't coming, friend. It's already here. I call the Silver Bazaar home for now, but I've no lingering affection for the place. I go wherever there is gil to be gotten. Give me an intimidation check? Should I use my Vox Machina dice? Doubt. Yep. That is a natural 2. I am not very intimidating. Your ears working, I said piss off. Enough already. I'm leaving, but tell it bloody Kiki-Poo this is the end of nothing, you hear? Nothing. Nothing. I'm pretty sure they're inside now. Okay, so the Final Fantasy XIV devs decide to personally smite you and prick your run through. Oh, I've had worse. I'll just start a new character. Again. Persistent little thing, ain't ya? Fine, I'm on my way. But tell that Kiki-Poo this isn't over. Roll me a legal saving throw. Do I get any modifiers? That is a natural 20. +3! Bah, I was about to leave anyway, so don't think you had any part in it. Yeah, right. 23 total. So I'm guessing I still fail. Because I know, lawyers are terrifying. But do I at least get to keep my channel? Where's the last one? Your lawyers ruined Square Enix for illegal invasion of your PC and win back rights to your character. Yes! At last, Lilith can live again! Danielle of the Silver Bazaar requires some very specific materials to fix his father's broken compass. Please, you must help me. It's my father. Well, he isn't dying or anything. He's a fisherman by trade, you see, but he broke his only compass. He hasn't been able to put out to sea for weeks. The compass is very special. It was crafted by the goldsmiths of Esteem's lapidaries. Ooh, a luck blade! Just for me? Repairing it will require many chunks of magnetite. Such stones can be found near the lighthouse, but the search is not without its dangers. The area is rife with earth sprites drawn to the magnetism. I'm a lowly fisherman's son. I have no arm for fighting, nor stomach. 3 chunks of magnetite would serve to mend the compass. Once you find them, please take them to my father, Galfridius. That's that name. No doubt he'll be dawdling about the bazaar as always. Is he throwing a tantrum or has he died? You can talk at me all day if you like. Short of a Gallian legion marching through that gate, I won't be getting up anytime soon. Are you sure? Some Galfredia's goofy spinal form. You Silver Bazaar folk are annoying as all hells, I'll give you that. Bugger this job, I'm off to find some peace and quiet. Take your hair with you. Actually, that hair wasn't too bad, if I'm honest. Booming gorsh. Gorsh! Is it now a fucking Pokemon? Are they gone then? All of them? Well, that's a relief. Serves them right for trying to scare honest folk from their homes so their masters can buy them. The hammers were built to pound the ground here into a solid foundation. The plan is to turn these tracks into manors and manses for the Battleland's wealthy. The same fate awaits the Silver Bazaar. Since the value of land is set to rise, small wonder some opportunist is trying to drive us all off so he can have it all to himself. The Silver Bazaar may not be what she used to be, aye. More people leave now than come, and more shops close than open. But it's my home, and I don't mean to be chased off by some bloody gillionaire craven who sends common thugs to do his dirty work. Hell yeah. Okay. I'm going to return to Ulda. Gillionaire, that hurts. Yeah, it does. So, I think that's the right one. Yeah, there we go. Thank you guys for coming around and hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. I've had so much fun, and I think this is something I want to keep doing. So, I will be live again next week at Friday. Well, on Friday, at the same time, for the same hours, most likely. So I hope to see you all there. Yeah, thanks for making this pretty awesome, guys. And I will see you all in the next stream. Bye!